Should I?
I'm going live.
It's
Hello.
really weird how baldness makes your head so tiny. Look how tiny my head is. I mean, Jeremy's also a little closer and Ben's a little closer, but
And do you think this is due to the baldness?
hold on, watch this. I'll get closer and I'll still have a tiny head.
The
look
problem
how
is
tiny
I
his head
want to
is.
I want to lean back like this.
But
and
I have a
talk,
fat
but
neck.
I think my mic would be too far if I did that, right? Or can you still
That
hear
You
me?
sounds
actually don't sound
You
that
don't,
bad.
you don't sound any different at all.
Yeah.
You just get more room.
Okay.
Does
Maybe
mine
I'll
sound
do
okay
this.
from this distance, or is this pretty roomy?
No, it sounds good.
You sound
It's
good.
pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Roomy.
Okay.
I like
Ah.
that.
Stick to the
Let's go live and then immediately start talking about our
Yeah,
levels.
yeah. What's the problems that
Okay.
we're having? Speaking of levels, I should actually monitor those. So what did you do to your setup, Ben?
Oh.
Oh yeah,
It's
you look
new.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a
More of your chin now.
I got a nifty
Yes.
Logitech Pro
Been waiting for that
webcam.
moment.
It's pretty good. It's 4K. And it's like freestanding, so I can actually
Ooh,
move it
okay.
around.
Throw it out the window if you wanted.
Throw out the window. In addition to that, actually, I'll give you the tour. I also changed up my setup a little bit here. So I've always had this guy directly in front of me, which is the Scarlett 2i2.
Yeah.
But then I also have this new Elgato kind of.
Oh, you
I
got
don't
a
know what
capture
you call
card?
these things.
It's capture
It's-
card.
So this is not a capture card. It's just a dock
Oh.
essentially. But it used to be that I had
Genetic.
it used to be that I had like 400 dongles hanging off of this, like over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got going on right now.
The problem with that is every time I move my laptop on the swivel stand, I would actually lose the second monitor that I have because the
Oh.
HDMI was really finicky, and so I replaced that. And then behind me, I now have this beautiful black curtain. And I
Nice.
think the next step is going to be to install some lights on either side to kind of light up the curtain.
Okay.
And kind of, make my space look a lot more profesh, as they say.
You got the Bad Religion back there?
Yeah.
Take
Oh, yeah,
away
signed
this
Bad
ball
Religion
and
poster.
chain. I love that band. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It says,
You're the one of them.
"See ya in the pit."
R.I.P. the pit.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Brad.
COVID.
Thanks,
Brad.
world events.
What are you doing, Dana?
I'm monitoring our audio. I'm a little.
Oh, okay. But you're shaving your ear.
Oops, that's the wrong.
You
one.
laugh. It's coming.
I'm not
Special.
there yet.
I have two special devices.
You have
was gonna
two
say,
ear shaving devices.
And one of them, it had like a guard on it, and it wasn't getting close enough to the meat, so I broke the guard off, and now I'm able to really get in there and make my ears bleed. But it's the only way. It's the only way to do it. And whatever you do, if you're on Instagram, don't ever accidentally watch a video of some guy getting his ear hair burnt by a lighter, because then that shows up in your feed constantly. Have you never seen these
Uh-oh.
videos?
Oh God.
Don't
no.
do it, because then
That
they'll just
doesn't
show
sound
up and
good.
show up and show up, and it's just some dude takes a lighter and cooks some other guy's ear hair off, like a barber thing,
Jeez.
whatever. I accidentally watched that, and now I get all this barber stuff.
Oh, so
Well, you're
ASMR.
French,
French pressing over here, bro.
French president, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Social media post. Okay. Ready? Ready, audience? Okay. Let me grab
Do you take it?
my mug. No. You ready?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Boom. We're live.
Whoa.
Okay. There we go.
Aren't we already live?
Ben looks like he's taking a mug shot. Perfect. You also look like you're sitting on a. Okay, now it's better. Before you look like you were sitting on a toddler's stool.
Yeah, I need to adjust
One of
my
those
angle
boost
here.
stools.
Yeah, he's got
Oh,
a lot
there
of
we
headroom.
go.
right now.
It's blurred.
Yeah. Sorry.
Beautiful.
My effects are getting in the way.
Mhm.
Okay, let me post this.
I
Don't
just
wait for
finished
me.
this movie like
Yeah.
20 minutes ago.
I have
Good, it's fresh.
I
I-
actually just finished it like 30 minutes ago.
I have some emotions about this movie.
Emotions.
Not good ones.
You don't usually feel those.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I usually I suppress those really well. Not this time.
No, this time it was real. the lizard versus. I hope you called this podcast "Lizard versus Monk" because there's really no
Monk.
title. Reject
I mean, I
Society,
could.
Return to Monk.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
here
I'm
we
gonna
go.
get that chat open in case. What's his name? What's the dude from last week? Shark
Oh,
fin?
Hornet.
Shadrach.
That's all right.
Hornet. I don't know. I thought it
Ebox,
was more
I
like
forget what-
something
yeah.
with scales.
Oh,
I thought it had to do with scales, but it was actually like
It was,
insects.
I think it was like Hornet, something. Hornet Sting.
Yeah,
Hornet.
you're right.
Yeah. In case he shows up, I want to talk to him.
Did
Yeah.
you call him
Do we-
Sting-
do
what did
we
you
know
call
this
him last
person,
week? You
or is he
called him
just some
Sting Boy
rando?
or something?
I don't know.
Oh, none of us know the guy who wrote in
The
last week.
mysterious Hornet.
it's probably winter.
Probably is.
Should we get here? I got this ASMR for
I
you.
think Winter does watch our podcast, but I don't think that he watches it live.
He does watch it. Yeah. He was telling me the other week. He's like, we were having this conversation because he was over, and we're sitting in my room talking, and he's like, I said something, and he goes, "You say that all the time. That's what you say on the podcast." And I was like,
Yeah.
"You watch the podcast?"
I know, right? There's no greater.
You're like, that's all you took away from this? Was it you watched?
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so
It's
much.
beautiful.
What is it you say?
I think it was just like, I think it was just me telling Winter like, the blah blah blah, but but you're right. This is, I was like trying to concede some ground, and we were like having an argument, but I was acknowledging like, okay, but you do have this point or whatever, and he's like, you say that on the podcast sometime or whatever, and I was like, I don't know why
that's
you're
really-
complaining.
You're a really.
I don't see this as a bad thing, but
You
okay.
approach arguments with nuance and grace.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
How
how
dare
dare
you?
you see other
Damn it.
people's point of view?
God
You
damn
said
you
all
and your common ground, Jeremy.
You're such a jerk. How dare you try to understand how I feel?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Well,
And don't start with your common frame of reference bullshit either.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
get that shit out of here. Yeah.
If you make it so that we understand each other, we can't argue anymore.
How am I supposed to be mad at you?
Do you guys probably don't do this anymore, but does anyone agree to disagree? Do you guys still do that, or is that right out?
Oh, I totally agree
Five
to
is
disagree with
right
you.
out.
I
We used to do this when we were kids, when we were youthful.
I think we get to a point where we're just like, okay, we're arguing about the same thing. We've kind of made
Yeah,
it like
it
full
gets- it
circle, and
becomes
then
cyclical.
we realize
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and we're just like, well, this is dumb. Let's
Mhm.
argue about something else, and then we
fair
change
enough.
tactics.
I don't think we really argue about stuff where. So I think agreeing to disagree is like usually something that's important when you're arguing about something. It's like we need to find a way to reconcile. I think most of the time our arguments are usually like stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we're playing video games, we
Yeah.
have the dumbest nerd. They're great, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
the
yeah.
dumbest. And if you didn't know us, anybody, you'd think we were like arguing. But no, they're just nerd stuff. Like we have this big argument about what's better, Godzilla or King Kong. It's the dumbest
Man.
argument ever, but it's fun as hell.
It's better than the
Yeah,
argument.
And obviously,
we finally have an answer.
I was gonna
King
say
Kong-
there's
King
kind
Kong's
of
better, obviously.
They kind of gave an answer here.
They gave.
Did-
the
did they?
answer seems pretty obvious though.
I don't think
Like,
so.
Did they?
Thinking about
Okay.
like the previous mediums.
Spoiler
King Kong
alert.
was killed. Spoiler of like the old King Kong lore. King Kong gets killed by a bunch of like biplanes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I've never seen Godzilla get taken down by a fucking thing made out of wood frame and fabric. So I mean, I don't think anybody had any ideas that Kong was going to somehow be the strong man of this.
But he had an axe, so I thought
That's
with the axe, the combined power of the axe, that maybe that would be the edge he needed. No
they
pun
just made him Kratos, right? Like it was just like some like fucking grumpy old man Kong.
Yeah.
I'm back in
I-
this shit, but like with monkey noises.
I thought it was pretty interesting how beardy Kong is now.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
He let his shit grow.
Yeah.
He's got some
Right.
hangage.
They,
And,
they
you know,
literally turned
very
him into
beardy.
old man Kong. I mean, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like I
Old
was
man
expecting him
Kong.
to like look at the camera and be like, "Boy."
You might as well have.
All
or
right,
whatever.
well, let's start this pig off. So this is
Oh,
the
yeah.
We Like This podcast. I am joined by myself, Danon Waters, Ben Nickerson with this sweet new setup. We can get that expression so much clearer. Look at
Yeah,
that.
I know. I saw it so well now.
Jeremy Dallas
Nice.
and Daryl Waters, and we're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Kong.
Wrong start.
Well, I'll start. It's hard. It's honestly hard to shit on this movie because it didn't even try. You know, it's and it reminded
I
me
see
when
what
I'm
you're saying.
watching it. When I'm watching it, it reminded me how nothing is good anymore. Yeah, I said it. The bold statement. We like either got to go back, and I think a lot of people are doing this. I think a lot of people are just going back in time, excluding certain things like Cobra Kai, which was fucking amazing, all 3 seasons. and things
You're
like
kind of
that.
going back in time there though too.
Not too far though. I'm talking about like,
Sure.
I think most people are going way back in time now. And I was watching
They've
this
run out
thing.
of shit to redo.
I was watching this thing earlier by, I don't know if you guys have seen this guy's channel on YouTube. His name's Rick Beato, I think.
Beato.
Oh yeah, the
Beato,
musician
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy's
Beato.
awesome.
Mhm.
So like I was watching this today and he was talking about how Paul Simon just sold his catalog.
I saw that.
The other old guy sold his catalog, some other old guy. And he was talking about how they used
Dylan.
to, Dylan sold his catalog for like 400 million. And he was talking about how, this is part of the problem, right? Is these production companies don't, not production companies, but these studios, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they don't develop bands anymore. And he was pointing out how like U2 took 4 albums to get their big hits, and this other band took 3 albums. It was 3 albums in before they got there. And he had a great point. Like I think it was U2. It was like 7 years of albums before they released Joshua Tree. And I'm not a big U2 fan, but yeah, that's when it took them years to develop really their sounds. And they allow these bands to do this, and they'll let them write their own songs. And now songs are written by 30 people or 8 people or 9 people, and nobody writes their shit anymore. There's exceptions, probably Taylor Swift and things like that. But it's, and I know I'm going
Someone
around
should be writing her
the barn and
songs.
coming back again, but I think it's all part of the same problem. Like we just keep taking old properties like King Kong and Godzilla, for crying out loud. Stream connection.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. Let me get it back up.
Connection.
Thank you, Jeremy, for combining that.
Oh, we lost Danon too.
Uh-oh.
I got
Okay, now
you.
we're back. Okay, we're
Now
back.
we're back. Are we back streaming?
Yep, we're back streaming.
Connection.
Back
So
streaming.
anyways,
Streaming boys.
My point being, and it's just everywhere, and it's in most media. There's exceptions, of course, to anything, but and this movie is part of this problem that's going on, where they just don't even try. It's beautiful. It's it's all the 3D animation. Honestly, looked so real. It looked fake. I don't know how else to put it, because everything is so fucking 3D animated anymore. But all the characters are one dimensional. We don't care about them. There's no story built up. It's like, hey, I want to take Kong to the center of the earth. Oh, we really shouldn't do that, but okay. There's not.
Yeah, that was
What the
amazing.
hell was
Nothing.
that?
They don't even
Journey
try.
to the
Nobody
center of the
tries.
earth bullshit.
Yeah.
It was very strange that so my question immediately
The
out of the
heck was
gates
going on
was,
in this
is
movie?
this like a sequel or something?
Sure.
Sort of.
To Godzilla King of the Monsters, we don't even know. Yes, it is. But
Well, no,
it
because
is.
I've seen all of the I guess I haven't seen all the Godzilla movies, but I've watched a large majority of the old school Godzilla movies, like Godzilla versus Mothra and Godzilla versus Gojira and all those stuff. But like, first of all, those movies don't have any consistent storyline. But second of all, like the way that they introduced stuff in this movie was so just like, yeah, we already know this. There's a hole in the middle of the earth. We know that. Right,
everything
audience?
about it, like they just don't care. Like they just don't care, right? And it's like they're trying to make us care about these characters, but none of the characters have any arc. Like I said, they're all one dimensional. You get this girl secretly teaching Kong, who's under 24-hour surveillance. I love he's on Skull Island, inside the Hunger Games dome on Skull that looks like Skull Island. Just leave on Skull. I don't understand any of this.
Why is the dome on Skull Island?
It doesn't make any sense.
You're already on
It's
the
Skull
island.
Where's he gonna
The
go?
lid off. Just take the lid off.
What?
You're already
so dumb.
there. It makes no fucking. That's the whole point. And they don't care. Like the movie doesn't care. Everybody who's making the movie doesn't care. They just hire these actors and they do all this hardcore acting, and it means nothing because we don't care about them anyways. Like I said, you have this girl secretly teaching Kong 24-hour surveillance, but he somehow learned sign language, but no one's noticed it until later.
Mhm.
Everything about
Right.
it is just dumb. We don't care. You have this weird side quest.
Dumb.
I don't care about any of this stuff going. So I'm watching it just half in the background. I was like, all right, is this over yet? Yet they still have to make this stuff 2 hours. And I'm like, God, guys, come on. 90 can we get back to the tight 90, please?
This should
And
have
you
been
know,
a
for
70
2
minute
hours,
movie, honestly.
2 hours. There's not that much monster fighting.
I know,
No,
dude.
there's not that much monster
Godzilla's barely
action.
in this movie.
Yeah.
And Godzilla, I do not understand the tiny head, giant ass Godzilla that we have. What the
Yeah,
fuck
dude.
is that?
He's got that Pixar
Dude,
mom bod.
He did. He's
Yeah, he
Pixar
Got
mom
that
bod,
dump truck,
tiny
dump
head.
truck ass.
He's got a badonkadunk. I mean, he's got a
Some
hell of an
Miss-
ass on that
Mrs.
lizard.
Incredible.
Right,
yeah,
it is
Elastic
Mrs.
Girl.
Incredible of the dinosaur world.
He's a he's a perfect right triangle. It's
He is.
to look at.
Yeah.
So weird.
That's what they do. It's like the director's like, no, smaller, head smaller. No, head
It's
smaller.
smaller.
Head smaller. Like he's not gonna be able to eat. Smaller.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
they don't even, like I said, they're not even trying anymore. The boat fight, you're like, I love it. They're like, let's just put Kong on a boat and just haul his ass into the, where do they go, Antarctica or something like that?
Yeah, they're
It
going to
just-
Antarctica. But like even that whole situation, that's a testament to how little they gave a shit about it. Because it was like they had this boat fight, which first of all, like, there's no way that King Kong would have any chance in the open ocean.
It's
No.
the worst
Against-
possible place that you could put King freaking Kong. Where Godzilla swims, he can swim.
Why did they
Kong is a
just
monkey.
fly
Not
him?
only can he swim,
Kong's a
he
monkey.
lives in the ocean. Godzilla comes from the ocean. He's from the bottom of the fucking Mariana Trench or whatever.
Could
Yeah.
have flown him over or something.
Well, that's
Which
and
they
then later they
eventually did.
fly him.
Yeah.
They're
Then
like,
they fly him later.
Right, but
Godzilla
also that
can't
was
fly.
stupid because
right?
they had like a
Wait.
bunch of helicopters take him to fucking Antarctica.
Dude, Kong has got to weigh hundreds of tons, right? He's like 250 feet tall or some shit at this point, which he's grown steadily over the years. He was originally 25
Right.
feet. Now this fucker's as tall as buildings. But again, like, it's like they just don't even give a fuck. And I think that's the worst part about all this. It's like, just cut out all the other garbage, cut out the stupid subplot of this blogger, right, who's trying to take down this company Apex.
Oh my God.
Nobody can find him. No one's trying. They got to be. You think they'd be scouring? They have the FBI involved and stuff. But these two kids can walk into the noodle shop and find him in half an hour.
Right.
Everything about it is just
Right.
they don't fucking care. And I think that's the worst. So how are we supposed to care? And if it's just going to be giant lizard, giant monkey fighting, just do that. I would have been. I
Give
would
us
have been.
more
for
of
that.
that then.
Just get their asses in there, ring
Yeah.
the bell, and fight for a while. You know.
Yeah.
And then the movie just turns into every Superman movie where they're fighting and destroying a whole entire town, and people are just dying left and right, but you see it but don't see it, and it's like, and I understand
Yeah.
like, so why is Godzilla mad now? And Godzilla, how's he a hero of mankind? He's killed so many people at this time.
Mhm.
I'm on Mecha Godzilla. I'm on that dude's.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
dude, he's the
yeah.
only-
I know we're jumping ahead there, but I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, like, why are you trying to revive Kong? Okay, you should let
was
Kong
gonna
die. Okay, we should just
Yeah.
let Kong die, and you should let
Mechagodzilla
Mega
will be-
Godzilla kill Godzilla,
He was
and
doing
then
his job.
problems are solved.
Mhm.
Then you're done.
We have no more Titans and we're good. Yeah.
Because
it's
Godzilla
easy.
has proven that when he's having he's on, having a bitchy day, he's gonna fucking wreck a town. Because that's what he do.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, he just goes and attacks Apex, and you're like,
Well, I
okay,
guess
Kills tons of
But he
But he
people
doesn't
in the
just
first, like,
attack
15
Apex. He goes
minutes.
and destroys
Yeah.
whatever city it's in. You
I
know?
forget where they're at. Yeah.
What- because that wasn't in Hong Kong
No,
quite
that
yet.
was
And it
in
was because-
Pentecostal, Florida.
Okay.
Because he
Uh,
felt
yeah, that's
threatened
right.
that they were building Mega Godzilla.
I'm
Somehow
so
he
confused by the
somehow like built it in
intelligence.
his bones.
I don't understand the
Yeah,
intelligence
it's
of
a-
these creatures. They're simultaneously the smartest motherfuckers alive and also the dumbest.
Mhm.
Can
Can
we
we
apparently-
talk about how
apparently
King Kong
Ghidorah
came from
is-
an ancient fucking society, though?
Yeah. right?
Oh my
Where
god!
he sat on a throne.
Yeah.
There's a throne.
They
He's got his
created
own
an
axe.
axe out of one of Godzilla's fucking spines.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How about how fast he understood gravity? Just jumps off the mountain
Yeah.
and starts floating and like, oh, I remember this. What the fuck is going on in
Yeah.
this whole
It's,
entire fucking movie?
It's genealogical memory or something like that.
It's
you know?
muscle memory and there's no explanation. So that's the thing is like they go to the center of the earth, which should be one of the coolest things ever, right? With this, we just don't even care at this point.
They just do. It
There's
just happens.
they just do. And I like how
Yeah.
Godzilla's so mad. He goes to Tokyo. Oh, not Tokyo. He goes to
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong this time and just blows a hole all the way to the center of the earth.
All
Yep.
the way through the
I forget how
whole
thick
fucking
that is.
earth.
But it's hundreds of miles, I
not
think,
even
right?
not even that, but also this entire wormhole thing that they have going on in Antarctica, that's gone.
They killed the brother? Yeah, isn't now gone.
No,
Doesn't
no,
matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter because Godzilla can blast a hole to the hollow Earth. And like that doesn't
Right,
matter.
right.
What about gravity?
What's
What
this-
happened
yeah.
to gravity?
You don't need
Well,
gravity.
you know,
Don't need it.
it goes into the warp and then yeah.
I'll give
It
I'll
made no
give the movie
sense.
credit that it doesn't give a shit, which is
I don't know. I'm not.
it's the
gonna
way
give
to do
that.
it.
Refreshing, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if don't explain your science, right? Because if you do, it won't make sense. Unless
No.
the movie is really trying to ground itself in reality, which is
Right,
movie clearly
right.
is not, right? So it's like, don't explain the science, just have science. Which is what, that's what Star Trek got away with all the time. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? We'll just heal this shit with dilithium crystals. Or we'll just heal these dilithium crystals with nuclear photons. Science fiction, you know what I mean? You can get away with that shit.
Right.
Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
It's hard to even be
skull.
mad at this movie or
Yeah.
or shit on it because like they don't care. So why how am I gonna care?
But
But it
Wait,
is
wait,
disappointing. It is disappointing a little bit because I don't know how you guys feel, but the Kong Skull Island movie I kind of liked.
It was
The
fun.
one
I
that
kinda
had
liked it,
Sam
yeah.
Jackson and
I
Tom
liked it.
Hiddleston.
Yeah, at least
I
it
thought that was
had
fun.
a semblance
And
of the story, and
Yeah, and the first of these Godzilla movies, the 2014 one, I actually
like that one.
enjoyed
I
quite a
liked it
bit
lot,
too.
yeah.
King of Monsters was whatever, but those other two movies I kind of liked, and I thought they were fun, and they were way better than this one.
So
So
were they the same? Is that the same universe?
Yeah.
yes, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the same universe.
So this
Kong
is a sequel.
Skull Island.
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, definitely is. And then the
Oh,
other two Godzilla movies.
But
are
I
all in
didn't
the
know
same
we were.
universe.
I didn't know we were. I had no idea until this movie was coming out that we were setting up for this big showdown between these two. I never felt it in any of the other movies.
Well, they
Like,
only they mentioned
no
it
preamble.
at the end of Skull Island. It might be an end credit scene actually.
Yeah, I think you're right. They
I
barely
think it
mentioned
is
like
an end credit scene where they show these ancient like hieroglyphics that they show in the beginning of this movie with Kong and Godzilla duking it out. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
think those are
When
right
the-
next to the hieroglyphics that are in Justice League, actually, that Wonder Woman finds.
right.
They're like right
right,
next
Dark,
door.
Dark
Yeah.
Side,
Yeah.
and then there's Godzilla.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was Darkseid, Godzilla, and King Kong. But
Yeah.
the fucking God, dude,
That'd be
when
awesome. I'd watch that movie.
when she
Please.
when they're under like the earth for the first time, and then she Yane or whatever the hell her name is, like basically looks at the camera and is like, "There's evidence that King Kong has, or that Kong's ancestors fought a war with the Godzillans."
Godzillans? Okay, so I was barely paying attention at that point. There's been older Godzillas?
well,
Yeah,
yeah, 'cause that's where they got
that's
the-
where the spine axe comes
The
from. It's
spine
one of-
thing is from the previous Godzilla.
Well, previous Godzillas. The implication is that there was an army of King Kongs that fought an army of Godzillas.
Oh, what? It was like a
Mhm.
gang fight.
Yeah, well, it was a
Yeah.
It's
war.
like West Side
Jeremy, with,
Story.
like
It was.
tactics and shit.
it was fucking the Outsiders.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it's the Outsiders.
And then when the axe turns out to be a fucking key,
Is it a
The hell
key?
is
No, it's just there's a
well,
charger port. There's a charging port.
It's got a USB-C port.
what's
on the
in
ground.
the
Yeah.
axe?
I was talking about the intelligence of these creatures, right? Like Godzilla's like walking around and like, oh shit, sweet Barone and shit. And he's got the fucking key axe. And then he looks and he notices it's the same shape as the axe and then puts it in there. I'm like, what the fuck is
Mhm.
going on? If this guy's this intelligent, I'm saying guy now, he might as well be with his beard. What the fuck is even going on here? You know what I mean? I don't understand any of this. I don't know what you do with any of the fucking humans. Again, none of it makes any sense. They just throw that's another problem too, is they throw so many characters at the wall. One-dimensional characters that mean nothing, we're not involved with, we don't care about. They throw
Like
all
the,
this shit at the wall, like
The
we've got
daughter of the
Godzilla.
corporate guy.
Yeah.
And some
got-
of them I
She
don't
was just throwing in his
remember.
eye candy, obviously, you know, and it's like they're just not
yeah.
even trying, and it's just
She
like
was.
and she is eye candy, but it's just like they're not even trying, and it's just like
See, that's the
well, I mean,
thing.
like
is,
even
like,
Godzilla 2014 was not that great. I kind of like it. I think the trailer was amazing.
Uh-huh.
That was the best trailer.
I thought it
I've
was
ever
fun.
seen.
I thought
like
that
it.
was that movie actually had a decent subplot with humans. Like the humans were actually kind
Well,
of interesting to me.
It did, but they
That one?
hoodwinked us with Cranston. right? Made us think that he
Oh,
was the star,
they
and then he
did.
wasn't.
Yeah.
They killed him off.
Pull a fast one with
First third of
Cranston.
the
That
movie.
was annoying for sure.
And then they finish it out with his kid, who we have no emotional connection to, and or
Right,
don't
kick
care
ass.
about. And also everything cool that happens in the movie happens off screen. Like, dude, when you get that Muto, which I loved all that stuff. I thought all that stuff was great. Ken Watanabe's great. I'll watch him in anything that he does. He's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But you got this Muto going towards Las Vegas, and we don't get to see it. Fuck you, movie.
Yeah.
Show me the Muto destroying Las Vegas. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to see big shit destroy buildings and stuff. And then you don't show it to me?
Right.
Well, that's what I didn't like about that movie. And I felt like
Yeah.
it really wanted to have a story, but I'm like, where is the story? If the story is with the kid, stay with the kid. Don't give us Bryan Cranston and then kill him off. And then we
Kill
got to
him
listen to the
immediately.
kid. You know, we got to listen to Kick-Ass. Is not that, but that's a whole other thing. But it's still not as horrible as this.
No, and like I
This
said, that
isn't
one
horrible. It's just
that
not
one
good.
was like, at least I could kind of follow what was going on with the human plot. Like I understood sort of what was happening. And same thing with Kong Skull Island. The human plot in that one I could follow. Like I
And
understand
it was fun. You had Samuel Jackson trying to kill King
trying
Kong.
to
You had
kill
that rivalry
Kong,
going on. It was-
and
you know.
it's got that whole 60s thing going on to it. And I like Tom Hiddleston. He's sort of the special ops guy.
Yeah.
And like I could follow it. I'm not saying it was amazing, but at least I could
Yeah.
follow it and I could track with it, and it seemed to work well with what the monster action was happening.
There
In
you
this one, there's so much weird stuff happening. Where there's this random comedic guy who's not funny at all. He was
the
annoying,
Australian
man.
kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Australian kid, he was freaking
Ugh.
annoying.
I
I hated that kid.
Why
I
were
wanted that
they
kid
in
to
this
die.
movie? They literally did nothing at all.
They didn't do anything except for
No.
pour whiskey on a console to. mess
But it
with
didn't
Mechagodzilla.
even stop
Do
Mega
anything.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything.
They literally did nothing.
And like the whole movie doesn't know what to do with itself. It's like Mechagodzilla should have been not, oh my god, bad guy that we need to group up against. Mechagodzilla is the only thing in the movie that makes sense, right? Like humans
Yes.
creating something that can fight and kill off these apex predators that are just laying waste to
Mhm.
entire cities makes sense. But the movie says no, Mechagodzilla bad. Fuck you talking about?
Right. Fuck
We
you,
need
PETA.
Mechagodzilla.
But
Yeah.
if that was the case, wouldn't this just be Pacific Rim?
It's exactly what I thought of,
and-
right? Where I saw it.
I
Was,
thought of
Pacific
that
Rim is
too.
a much better movie.
Pacific
Pacific
Rim
Rim,
is
I,
better.
I really enjoyed Pacific Rim. It's for one, it's got Guillermo del Toro. You can see his artistic influence in everything, which is fantastic. The creatures look amazing. The human subplots were like, they're pretty run of the mill, but it's enjoyable. But the action and
At
the
least you
and
can
the
follow it.
yeah, at least you can follow it, and the action is fantastic. Like you get a lot of action for a giant
Mhm.
monsters fighting robots movie, which is
what you
great.
want.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what you
Yeah.
go and watch these movies for.
Then this
So I
didn't-
really like
this had like barely any. I'm telling you, like there's
Really
the
didn't
one
deliver on that. Yeah,
thing. There's the
so
one
much.
fight in the water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then
And then
there's
the fight in Hong Kong, and that's it.
there's the fight two-parter fight in Hong Kong
Yeah.
where, and this is what I was saying earlier, Godzilla definitively beats Kong.
Yes.
Oh yeah, kicks his
Yeah,
ass.
kicks his
So
ass.
Kong is the loser for sure.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
We know the
And
answer.
you gotta fucking love
He
that
gets
scene
beat
where
twice.
he's like looking down out of the camera or out of the heave, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Round 2 goes to Kong," and
I
then
know.
literally 5 minutes later, King Kong gets fucking handily defeated.
Yeah, he doesn't really win. And the thing is, when he's getting drowned, first of all, Godzilla basically could have just killed him in the first 40 minutes of the movie, right? He's getting
Yeah.
drowned. That should have been it.
That was so.
For some reason, there's missiles in the water. Then
Oh my
and
god!
he's able to
And
get
it's
But
away.
you can
Nate,
fool.
Who's
That's what I'm
like,
talking about.
who's like, well, there's got to be some way we can help them. Do you have anything that can blow up underwater? And then the military guy's like, depth charges.
Depth charges.
Not even that part, but
It's-
You
when
just got those kicking around.
but that part where they turn off all the engines, so Godzilla thinks that he
Oh my
wins and leaves. Like,
And
are
like
you
Godzilla's
kidding
like-
Then
me?
he just clears out. He's like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
they're
double
dead.
check.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, they're dead.
yeah.
Sick.
Probably
And
got
Kong is clearly
I
like
swam all
moving
this
around
way.
and like in pain, like just moving around and like, oh my god.
It's just shut all the engine off. It'll be
Oh,
fine. Like I said, the movie doesn't.
So
that's the problem.
stupid. See, the
Yeah,
problem with
you're
it
right,
though
Daryl,
is
they just don't give a
Just
shit.
there
don't
was
try.
there
They
was a
just don't care
writer's
anymore.
room
Don't care.
for this goddamn movie. There was a writer's room. So what
Is there,
does that
though?
term mean? What does that
You
term
know?
mean when 30 writers get together to make a blockbuster movie? It means nothing because
And you're trying to
nothing
tell me
happened in this movie.
Mecha Godzilla does not have a backup mainframe. I'm telling you, it would switch instantly over when that kid poured the whiskey on it. We have that at work where I work. I work at a power plant. if this one fails, it automatically switches over and it's bumpless and just
It
takes
doesn't
over.
matter
and
though.
keeps running.
Him pouring the fucking whiskey on that thing did zero. That did
Oh,
nothing.
yeah, because
stuttered
Mechagodzilla
for a little bit.
somehow realizes that all men are a threat, like Skynet.
So
and
Is
then
that what
stupid.
happened? Is
No,
that
I
what?
don't
I think
know.
what
I
happened
d- not-
was
I don't know.
they-
Because he does
they-
kill the Spanish guy or whoever, the
Yeah.
rich guy who's trying
Yeah,
to.
after he self-realizes or something.
No, well,
Yeah,
he
and
just
is it-
becomes
is-
sentient because they like use the planet energy. But I think the implication is that they accidentally revived.
Well, they
Gojira.
downloaded the
Or
planet.
not
That's what
Gojira.
I'm saying.
They
Gojira
downloaded the
is,
power.
And
Gojira
Godira
is
is just a fucking skull, but it is also a supercomputer.
Right.
This
Don't
is
you-
how
Jeremy-
smart they are.
Jeremy, don't you're asking too many questions.
This. I'm just saying. This
I
is
need-
how
I'm gonna need you to get
smart they are.
Right off my back about that supercomputer skull.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me get right off
Oh my
off
God,
of
I
that thing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to.
You just plug some things into the thing, and then
Yeah,
all of a
don't
sudden
matter.
you're getting
Don't matter.
brainwaves. From
Does
a
your
skull.
does your skull not have ports? Mine's got a couple
mean,
of like USB-C ports in the back here.
I'll
like
tell
a
you one thing the
Matrix
movie does
plug?
good though is
Hmm.
the technology all looks real. The sets are beautiful, stuff like that. But again,
Yeah.
who cares?
Is,
Who
it's
cares?
Actually, I was when Kong is in Antarctica and they drop him off and he wakes up, and all the Danny, you probably noticed this too. All like the little subtle texturing of the snow on Kong's beard.
That did look pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that was really pretty good looking.
the water in that fight actually looked really
Old
amazing.
Snowbeard.
Old Snowbeard.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Did you,
exactly.
like the particle effects they used for the water fight were like pretty, like they look pretty fucking amazing.
Mhm.
Like when he climbs out of the water, it like, it looked right. Like it looked like he was
Yeah.
a big thing getting out of the water.
Yeah.
It was a.
There's
it was
some
very
sexy
impressive.
shots in that water fight scene too, like the one where the pilot is taking off as Kong is smashing the. Do you know the one I'm talking about? He like takes off
Oh,
and it's like
yeah.
a cockpit view,
Mhm.
like right as the whole ship
Oh.
is getting sunk, and he like takes off just in time, and it's a cockpit view, and you like see
Right.
Kong behind. I
Right.
thought that was a cool. There's a few cool sexy shots like that, or
Yeah.
like
Thought it
when
was- yeah.
when Kong is like shouting into the water. Like, by the way, could have blasted him in the face earlier.
Maybe it doesn't work
Whatever,
underwater.
He's like shouting into the water, and then the water like comes up, and it looks like he's.
Oh my
Kong's
god!
underwater
And then
for
he
a
does the
second.
action jump off of the boat, and the fucking lightning is behind him, and he's like, "Whoa."
I'm pretty sure those boats can't handle that kind of fucking.
Yeah, I don't
action.
think so. He slams onto the aircraft carrier
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Nothing
Oh,
happens. to it.
aircraft, right? Yeah, it's not really a boat. It's
Yeah.
aircraft.
Oh yeah.
I like too the one that the main humans are in does a completely capsizes, right? And then they roll it back
And
over.
then
It gets
well,
rolled
he
back.
flips
That's
it.
fine.
Yeah, Kong flips it over.
I
yeah.
don't even
Mhm.
know anymore. It's like I couldn't even keep track of it.
My favorite thing
Wrong.
about that scene was that the girl locks herself in a closet with the little deaf girl,
Yeah.
and then as soon as it flips over, the next scene is her trying to get out of the closet because the door is jammed.
Of course. Of course.
And it's like, well, what the fuck were you?
I love how they just bring at least in the last Jurassic Park movie, not the last one, but the one the second one, what the hell it's called, Lost World.
Yeah.
At least Ian Malcolm's daughter sneaks aboard the fucking. And she's not supposed to be there, right?
Right.
Now they just take kids. Fuck it, we're taking the kids on this dangerous trip.
Oh yeah.
She can talk to Kong, I guess. Well, she's going on this fucking completely dangerous trip
Mhm.
where a giant fucking lizard is going to attack this motherfucker in the middle of the
She
ocean. It's
goes
just
to
like,
the center of the earth with no training.
you bring a child to the center of the earth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy. I would
She
never let my
does.
child
This,
go to the
this
center of the
very well lit center of the earth. Where's all
That's
this
right.
light coming from?
Where was all that light coming from?
earth. Does it
They
really
very
matter?
cleverly did
Kong
not show the light
floats,
source. Yeah.
There's no gravity.
Like I
like
said,
he's in
right away,
space.
Kong's like, oh shit, the gravity's low. I'm just going to jump and just do gravity things.
Yeah.
God, it's like they don't
Two
even.
gravity
And then,
things.
and then like they follow him and he's like, goes into his old, which reminded me of Unreal Tournament.
Hey,
Video
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that whole open area where he goes to the throne, and I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, I could live here. It's, what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
movie? I don't understand any of it. Kong's a jungle dude, I think, right?
He's never been there before.
He's
Yeah,
part of
but
an
Skull,
ancient society.
Skull
Yeah,
Island.
an
They did
ancient
explain
society of-
this. Is Skull Island is a part of the Hollow Earth that has come up
Right,
to the
it
regular
came to the
Earth.
surface.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. but it's not a good
You
explanation.
yourself
But
said
that's
that
what they
Skull
gave us.
Island is like if the hollow Earth came to the surface. Is the particular line?
Is that what they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Something
what.
like that.
That's what.
Well, I gotta put a pillow under my
Discount fucking Chris. Not Hemsworth. Who plays the same character in Jurassic Park?
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Discount Chris Pratt.
Yeah, discount Chris Pratt.
Chris
That's what he
Pratt.
says to discount Christy Melody. It's like, fucking, you said it yourself. The Skull Island is just like if the Hollow Earth came to the surface. And then she's like,
sorry, they did explain it with one fucking line. So
right.
Mhm.
It was right before he goes, let's use King Kong to get to the center of the Earth. And she's like, that sounds dangerous. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay.
Yeah. Don't make me regret this. Bringing this, one of a kind giant ape. That's probably the entire world is looking at all times. Every
Well,
government
yeah.
is looking at this, and they're like, yeah, we'll go on a field trip because he knows where he's going.
let's just go on a Kong
because-
field trip.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, made no fucking sense. Did you guys notice how he didn't do jack shit? The whole stipulation for that was...
they followed him to the power source. That's what they needed Kong for, right?
But that's not what they said. They said, we need Kong to go on this expedition to find how to get to the center of the Earth. Because for whatever reason, like, it seemed like they had lost the expedition crew or something. But then they take Kong directly to where the expedition crew is lost. And then they go into the tunnel that has exactly one path. And they immediately find out how to get to the center of the Earth.
Yeah, they didn't need Kong. They
all.
really could have gone in there without him.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty hard to.
He would
miss
never
that
have got the
giant
ass.
It
ass
was pretty close
mountain.
by, actually.
Also,
Yeah.
why
It
would
was just
they?
a hop, skip, and a jump away.
It really was.
They
The
needed to
team
go.
that went in first died immediately because they didn't have the heaves or those anti-gravity ships.
Right.
So
all they
how
needed
would
was
they know
heaves.
that they would need Kong in the first place to find whatever the fuck it is they're looking for?
Power
Makes
source.
no
They needed
sense.
Kong to find that power source. Which,
But
if
how
they
would
had-
they
electrician?
know?
If they'd been futzing around, if they could have gone to that Middle Earth and fussed around for an hour, and they would have found that.
I
shit.
would have loved
They
if they
would've-
gave
yeah,
Kong
exactly.
one of those what are those things that look like it looks like a thermometer, Dad, and you stick it against like power outlets and it lights up and it shows that the outlet's hot. If he was walking around with like a 20-foot one of those, that
That's
would
what
have
we
been
call 'em.
awesome. You know,
Yeah. They would have found
testing
it.
the ground, and then when it lights up, finally, he's like, "Oh, here we go."
Like
And you
collecting
don't-
soil samples and
Yeah.
shit with like giant...
Yeah,
And you don't need the power source. You just need to upload the code from it or
they
something.
they
Right,
air,
you need
they
the power.
airdropped
You
it
need
to
the energy
surface.
signature.
Yeah, they
That's all
airdrop
you
it.
need.
You just need the
Yeah,
signature.
he
and
just
like,
opened
yeah.
up his
Specifically,
iPhone,
yeah,
downloaded
but also,
the code.
like, they drilled a microscopic hole from like King Kong's perspective into the like shiny
Yeah, right.
floor, and King Kong's like, "Ah!"
yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
no, no.
watched that. It's so. It's so.
Well,
And I like how they're using
at that
robots
point-
that look worse than the real robots that we have that Boston Dynamics is making. Like that
Oh,
robot
right.
looked like
Yeah.
shit.
Looked
It's
like crap.
we
No,
have better looking
See,
robots.
Kong gets mad. Because I remember thinking, is he gonna get mad because they're drilling a little tiny hole? And I watched really carefully to see, and he doesn't. That's not actually why he gets mad. He gets mad because
Oh, because
they all of a
point
sudden are
guns.
like, they started pointing guns at his kid friend. That's why.
Oh yeah.
right.
And why are they? Okay, look, come on. I understand you want
I-
to take your little power source, but now you're gonna
Yeah,
point
but come on.
a fully automatic weapon at a little child. What?
Right.
What the, what the hell? And then Kong gets mad, and then the bat
Oh.
things start attacking.
Oh, I forgot about the
some
bat
reason.
things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For some
Well, they
reason.
got mad. The bat things got mad because Kong shouted too loud and woke them
Yeah.
up.
He shook their friend. And these poor bastards have been there for probably thousands of years, right? Just minding their own business,
Yep.
living their own
Just
bat
kicking
life.
it.
And here
Yeah,
comes
just living
Kong
that bat
yelling
life.
at the ceiling, fucking causing earthquakes.
Taking them
Oh,
up.
another one of you big.
Oh,
monkeys.
that's this guy again. It's been 2,000 years.
Great.
God, I thought we were done with this kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I also think this movie should have been rated R, if for no other reason that the violence was really inconsequential. Like the bats, when they start like picking up all the dudes,
Right.
all the guard guys, I thought that would have been a really cool opportunity to get some good, like, proper bloody violence in there. Like there's, you know, they're kind of like, it just felt really undercooked
It
when
did.
they start
Mm.
getting picked off. it seems like there was a really great opportunity to do some cool,
Oh, it should have been rated R because it needed more violence. I thought you were just saying, because I'm like, I thought it seemed pretty tame to me.
No, they
But
could
I
have
see what
done
you're saying.
more with
It
the
should have been
violence.
rated R so we could have gotten more violence.
Yeah, there was some really cool opportunities to have some really violent, gory moments that would have been cool. Like I said, when the bat things are attacking the people, like you could have had one of them like rip them up or like attack it. Like it seems like they were trying to go for that, but because it was PG-13, it
like
was really
they killed a girl by
lame.
just having Kong smush her in the
that could have been a cool. And even the violence when they finally do fight, it should have been really knockout, drag out, like bloody.
If you
this
notice,
is two fucking huge monsters fighting.
Yeah,
they barely bleed.
Well, Kong gets his whole chest slashed open and doesn't bleed.
And it heals immediately. If you look at it a couple scenes later, it's scar. It's already scar tissue. It looks exactly like the other scar that he has there for the entire movie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like this is Godzilla and King Kong. It should have been rated R. We should have had some real, bloody, gory action moments between these two giants, and this is basically a boxing match.
But what about that? What about that scene where King Kong jumps and then jumps off of the side of a building and gives him one of these from the top punches to the face?
Well, Superman
Testament
punch.
to the quality of Hong Kongese and buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
high quality shit.
So
there was
supported.
one
Kong
scene-
has an axe. And no one bleeds. This dude literally has a bladed weapon, and no one bleeds.
I'm impressed that the blade weapon can stick in the side of a building.
Yeah. The coolest fight scene in the entire movie was a very quick moment where King Kong tries to grab the jaw and snout of Godzilla to yank it open. Because that's just like an iconic moment from Peter Jackson's thing where he snaps the Tyrannosaurus Rex's jaw.
That's all the way back from the original Kong, by the way.
Is it? Yeah, I mean,
okay.
As soon as I saw that, I recognized it. I was like, "That's a King Kong maneuver."
That's how he kills the Tyrannosaur in the original film. Is he pries its jaws open and dish soap comes out. It was the 30s, so they got so much.
I really liked the nod to that. Of just I'm not a huge King Kong fan. I'm a much bigger fan of Godzilla, but seeing him try to do his signature move and then Godzilla got out of it somehow by zapping a laser. I was like, okay, well, at least they put some thought into the fight scene here. They're doing their signature things. I felt like
also when he rams the axe down his Godzilla's throat, they do the
that
same
was
thing
cool.
in Godzilla versus Kong in the '62 version, except it's a tree.
Oh wow.
He did use a tree instead of an axe because he doesn't have a stupid,
Because it's kind of weird that the monkey has an axe.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird thing.
Apparently not weird.
They're tool bearing.
Monkey axe.
What's weird though is the whole movie spends all this time with all these subplots that mean nothing and all these one-dimensional characters. Right. It's like if you just taken the time and built the whole movie up to explain why these two assholes are fighting to begin with, right? They don't they touch on it and then well, let's just get back to all this fucking nonsense that doesn't mean anything, and develop something between the characters. And I don't know, maybe these two characters fall in love. Give us something, give us some romance.
Maybe Godzilla kills the blonde chick from
something
King Kong fell in love with, and then King Kong's got a vendetta.
Anything, any reason for it, except for that they're making a Mecha Godzilla. Godzilla somehow knows.
Ancient rivalry between the sharks and the jets.
So I'm going to destroy Florida. I mean, I'm behind on the destroying of Florida. That's cool. But I'm kidding, Florida. I love your state. I've been there multiple times.
It's not great.
Apparently, you've never been on a swamp tour?
I did, and it's called Disney World.
Oh, sure.
During any month of the year, you're always on a swamp tour.
They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
swamp tour, swamp ass.
It's disgusting. I will say that King Kong, the 2005 Peter Jackson version, did a great job of making a very violent PG-13 movie, because there is that scene where he kills the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's a very brutally violent scene. He bites the tongue out of it. And then he not only just rips its jaw open, but actually folds in the bottom half of his jaw and crushes it and crumples it. And then he's playing with the dead T-Rex a little bit too. It's pretty violent.
That's
and then
from
also
the original film too.
And then there's also the scene in the pit with all the insects. The way that Andy Serkis's character dies is pretty
Oh my
horrific.
gosh!
Dude.
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
a great scene.
I really, really, really like the 2005 version. There are tons of problems with it. I think the dialogue is atrocious, but the movie itself is very, very good. It's very well shot, very well choreographed. The entire fight with the T-Rexes is incredible.
It
I
is.
think
That is a
it's-
very
it's-
exciting scene.
It's
And those cannibals are freaking scary.
Oh
Dude,
yeah, the
very
entire
Jackson
the entire beginning of the movie.
When they
is
show up, you're
fantastic.
like,
yeah.
oh shit, this is
Yeah,
scary.
and they immediately start trying to kill people, which is great. It's like they
It
want
takes
to
an
be all
immediate-
buddy.
a straight 180, right? And you're like, oh
Mhm.
shit, this movie got scary quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then also
I remember-
Jack Black. He's a great Carl Denham. He's fantastic.
He was.
Jack
When they
Black.
first
Mhm.
cast that, I was like, and I like Adrian Brody. I'm like, Adrian Brody is whatever Jack Driscoll, and then it really works. A lot of the or some of the CGI does not hold up at now. Like all the
Oh,
dinosaurs
really?
running towards them, and all the apatosaurs running towards them does not hold up well at all.
Oh.
It's like dog shit now. But no, generally speaking, and I think the movie that's another movie that's too goddamn long.
Yeah, that movie's like
Way
2 hours,
Too long.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
That's really long.
I was done
It's
before
brutal.
they got to New York.
yeah.
Well, before
Um,
they got to New York,
Mhm.
and New
but
York's another
I-
hour.
Exactly, and that's where the movie kind of just like, but in the original King Kong, I don't remember the last time you guys seen it, but it's and for as old of the movie as it is too, it's perfectly paced, They did all right, but this is also the original film that started all this. You know, I mean, the original story. So, and then there's the '76 version, which I love, but is not a great film.
Hmm.
I love the '76 version, but that's mainly for nostalgic reasons.
I don't really like any of the older Kongs. Like I remember watching the 30s. What was it, 1933 when that one came out?
Yeah.
I didn't like the 70s one at all. It's
love
it's
the
matte
70s one.
painting the movie.
It's got some
It's-
horrible
it's
special effects, but
ridiculous.
what's good about the '70s one is I was 4 years old,
Hmm.
and I spilled a bunch of Red Hots. It was double feature with that and Journey to the Center of the Earth with Doug McClure, another steaming pile of shit. But also
Just
Rick
combine
Bra-
those two movies.
Rick
Yeah.
Baker, pretty much, was actually in the suit, the King Kong suit. He designed most of it and was basically the puppeteer inside the suit for King Kong. And the guy who did the King Kong roar from the '70s, his throat bled because he screamed so much for making the Kong roar. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know you
but-
could do that.
So there's a lot of bad about the '70s. Jessica Lange was absolutely stunning in that film. It was her first movie. She was a model up to that point. But no, it's not great. And there's only one monster in it, which is a stupid snake that looks like dog shit. But the Kong suit's great. The music's fantastic. I still like the story. It is not a great movie though. The
Yeah.
'76 version.
Can we talk about the soundtrack for Kong versus Godzilla?
Was
It
there
was
one?
atrocious.
I don't know. Was there one?
Well, the score
It
is
was
fine.
just
It's Junkie
I didn't even
XL,
notice it.
Tom Hulkenborg. It's okay. There's no theme, so of course it's boring. I have
Yeah, right.
I have many theories about needing a motif or a theme. You have to.
You have to.
You have to. But the soundtrack, the music choice that they chose for this movie was like, I mean, when the first scene is Kong waking up and he's walking through the river and scratching his ass.
Oh
and the
yeah.
song that they
What
play
was up
over
with
it, I was
King
like-
Kong and like old?
Oh, you're
R&B
right.
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're
They
starting
were
with
going on with that?
this and with
Trying
this
so
song
hard
too?
to be clever.
The
Yeah,
music
you're right.
doesn't match the,
the music is-
period. It doesn't match the mood. It doesn't match any. And then the next time they play an older song is when he's on the barge. When they
makes
open up with
no
him on the
fucking
barge
sense.
shot, and
Do
they're
you
playing
think
some.
that is because it's dumb if this is why, but do you think that's because Kong, the previous Kong movie in this universe, takes place in the 60s?
It
If
takes
they
place
want to
in
keep that
73,
kind
actually.
of. Oh
year
no,
I was
you're right
born-
because it's
year
post
I-
Vietnam.
and that was the year I was born. But I don't know what the fuck. I think it was the director breaking his arm, patting himself on the back for how clever he was.
He's probably
for
just
include-
trying to,
try-
keep it upbeat.
I'm trying to make it artistic
accessible
and
stuff like
interesting.
that, Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that was
just-
dumb.
It was.
It actually
But
annoyed
I
me.
think- I think it- yeah,
The
me
songs
too.
came on.
Actually, it was
I
annoying me
like,
too.
What the fuck are you doing?
I think it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, though, where you now have. It's not just that this director gets his name in the credits, but it's not him. It's him and all the producers that are involved. It's all the fucking production company
million
people that
writers.
show up and bother you while you're trying to make a movie. no, you know, there's so many cooks in this goddamn kitchen that it's just a shitty shepherd's, you know, pie when you're done with it. It's inedible. And that's the problem with everything. Music is like this these days. Movies are like that these days. There's just like, let somebody have a fucking vision, for Christ's sake. Like, again, I've been watching a lot of old movies, like going back to Kubrick again. I still hate The Shining. I still don't think it's a good movie. But it's still
Hot take.
a Kubrick film when you're watching it.
Yeah.
It's still his vision. It's still something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm a big Kubrick fan. I love 2001. I love the Clockwork Orange. I think it's fantastic. Like I say, I could never get. I think The Shining just does not work for me. I know a lot of people love it, but I just don't care. It's got a lot of beautiful cinematography, which I like it for that. But anyways, like I said, no one's allowed to, you know, have good, bad, or indifferent, possibly fail or not. Let them have their own vision. You know, Disney Star Wars is a prime example of that. They won't let anyone do their own goddamn thing. Even if the Lord Miller Solo would have sucked, it would have been theirs, and I would have respected it on some level. You know, instead of the crap we got.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solo is one of the strongest Star Wars movies that has come out in the sequel era, which I think.
Yeah, I think you're
Well,
probably not
at this
wrong about
point, at this point, now that they're all out, Rogue One is probably the best.
I
in
agree.
my opinion.
I did not
Strongly
like Solo,
disagree.
And
at
I'm not a
all.
fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One, but I still think it's the best out of all.
I think Rogue One. I would agree that Rogue One is probably the most fun, but it's not a movie. Like there's just like it's just like fanfare. The movie, like that's it. It's just.
Well,
I mean,
because it's
there's
one sentence
no-
long.
There's no fucking plot
Yeah.
to that movie at all. Yeah, you're right.
One
There's-
sentence long.
It's just like, all right, we got to get the plans. They're on this planet. Okay, go. Action, 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 action. Kill everybody. Tied that up real nice. Darth Vader gets a scene. Wow, fuck. Great movie. It's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Darth Vader
It's-
stabbing Kevin.
like watching a fucking video game cutscene, you know?
Jason
It's like-
Voorhees Vader.
But
I
that,
like
that
that.
the fatal flaw with that
was awesome.
film is that the characters are already dead. Why get involved with them? They're all dying
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, and we already know this. So why even make this motherfucker? And I'm old enough to remember when prequels started, and I remember all of us at the time going, prequel?
Eh?
I don't know. This doesn't sound like a great idea, and time has proven that it's never been a great idea. You know, one of the first earliest prequels I can remember was the second Indiana Jones film, which I thought was a fucking horrible idea, even back when I was a kid. Going, a prequel?
Is that a
The fuck is
prequel?
this shit? It is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It
Okay.
takes place
Didn't know that.
before Ray's Lost Ark.
Oh.
How hard would it have been for him and Marion to go on an adventure together? How hard would it have been?
Yeah, but then he wouldn't have been able to have a new love interest, Daryl.
You know, and it's just like
And Short Round, or whatever his name is.
I think
It's
short
it is
round
short
been
round.
involved
It is
regardless.
short round.
Yeah.
We could have had short round.
How,
too.
Mr.
But
Jones?
I mean, you know, it's just
Dr.
like
Don't talk shit on short round.
No, I love.
All right,
love
I don't
Short
like
Round,
the
okay?
second movie, but I like short round.
Data is great.
yeah,
Okay.
Data's great. It's a great
Yeah.
character. Again, now that if like I said, that's couldn't have been the first prequel. But that's the first one I remember, and I thought it was a horrible idea, and I still think it was a horrible idea. It seems weird to go
Yeah.
and we do so many prequels now. The stupid Alien films are a prime example. We don't need any of these goddamn backstories. We just don't. We don't need any of them. So
Well, we're
stop
about to get an entire series for Game of Thrones. Thank God.
fucking doing it.
Are
And we
we
don't
really?
need it.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get 3. I
Are we
think.
finally? Is that finally happening?
Oh, it's always been happening.
Oh, really?
The problem with that, I mean, we can touch on that. This has nothing to do with Godzilla versus Kong.
Well,
I
who
don't think
gives
there's
a shit?
anything left to say about Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, it sucks, but
it's an atrocious
who
movie.
cares?
Is it
for,
done
for
now? Oh,
everybody
sorry,
watching, we'll give our ratings here in a bit. But if you're watching in the comments, please, if you've seen Godzilla vs Kong, let us know what you thought about it. I'll read them out. But yeah, with all the prequel stuff going on with the Game of Thrones, the thing that made Game of Thrones so good when you're watching the first season is that it is right after a huge world event has happened, and that
Yes.
is the Last Dragon's or the last of the Targaryens have been killed, and they're dead except for Dany and her brother. They're the last two surviving Targaryens, and Jon Snow. We'll get to that, So the problem with making a prequel series that explains all that stuff is like it's been thoroughly covered in the entire rest of the series, the entire original series. They always talk about it. They talk about Sir Arthur Darren or something, who's the Sword of the Morning, and then Barristan Selmy, who is like slaying people left and right. Lord Thoros of Myr, who with a flaming sword, and the Blackfish, and all these people that got their names from these huge battles that the prequels are going to cover.
There's gonna be the Clone Wars all over again.
You don't need it, because I think what made that so interesting is because this huge world event has happened already, but we're 9 years past it, and it doesn't matter anymore, and especially
it's
now.
Fascinating that Valyria is in the shit and has been forever, and we don't know why and how. And the mystery of Valyrian steel has been lost to time is way more interesting than showing us Valyria.
Yeah. I don't want to see.
I don't need to ever see that place.
I don't want to see the Mad King. I don't want to see Jaime before he kills him.
One glimpse we got of the Mad King saying "burn them all" on that.
Oh yeah,
Bran is all the Mad King I ever want to see, and it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah,
I never want to see any more of the Mad King than that. That's all I ever need to see. And they're gonna ruin it by showing us the fucking Mad King.
Yeah,
and they're gonna show us all.
They got to do a young Ned Stark now, right? They're probably gonna.
The flashbacks we had of
Ned Stark. Ned Stark and a young Robert Baratheon.
Right?
Yeah.
The young Ned Stark that we got was great and enough already.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they were also flashbacks as Bran, got his fucking, got his sea legs, if you will,
right?
For being the three-eyed raven.
The three-eyed raven.
That's all we ever need to see, And they're gonna fucking ruin it by. And the problem is, it's done, especially after the terrible last 2 seasons, or where the fuck it was.
The last season in particular
was awful.
That was the nail on the coffin.
So it's like,
I think you can make an argument that the 7th season is all right.
All right.
I think there's an argument to be made that the 7th season isn't terrible, but dude, there's no excusing season 8. There's no excusing it. It was just so bad.
Like, wrap this up.
Yeah.
But then we also have another
what
prequel
season
series.
was when?
Oh, well,
what was the season where Hodor held the door and all that shit?
I think it was the end of 7.
Dude, see, 7. I thought 7 had its problems, but I still loved it. I thought all that shit was great. I loved all that stuff.
I think that was 6.
Or was it the end of 6?
That was the end of 6.
Yeah, because
I actually don't remember what happened in
skip
7
Bran
at this
for a
point.
season, so that might have been
7
the end of 5
is.
or end
I
of
think
6.
the
Maybe
end
it's
of 7. 7 is where they go out and try, and 7 is where they finally bring a White Walker. They extract a White Walker out from the.
They extract a White Walker, and they bring a dragon to. They bring the dragons up north, and then one of them gets killed by the White Walkers.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's when they really started speeding shit up, though.
Yeah,
right.
It is. It was definitely the beginning of the end, but I still thought 7 was.
I was still there. I was still there.
I still thought
I
there was some
definitely had
good
an
stuff
oh
in
shit
7.
moment when they pulled the dragon out of the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
exactly
mean,
what
I
that
felt
was.
something,
Yeah.
right?
The
I was
Walker
like,
dragon.
Oh no,
Yeah.
they got the dragon. You know,
Yeah.
like
They're gonna. That's how they're gonna break down the wall, right? The ice
and then
wall.
they do it at the end of in the post-credit sequence or whatever. But also it started having some flaws. I mean, people started teleporting in season 7.
Yeah.
Which was really, it was very suddenly apparent that people can teleport now. That's kind of annoying. But
Kind of annoying. Them going, this giant trek up north, and then I can't remember the fucking kid's name. He runs all the way to the back, tells fucking Dany. Dany flies back at her dragon. Yeah, Gendry flies back at her dragon. I mean, dude, that would have taken 3 months or some shit, and they do this in all of 28 hours, I think, or something.
About how long in season 2 they're up above the wall.
Yeah.
Forever. And the entire journey from Winterfell to King's Landing takes a month. I think they say it in the series, but they definitely say it in the books. It takes at least a month. So, but we have another prequel series. What I'm also not excited for is the Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna say, there's an Amazon Prime.
Amazon
Lord
Prime.
of the Rings
Yeah,
thing
it's
happening.
gonna take place during the Second Age. The
The
only
Hobbit movies already
it's
sucked.
the only saving grace is that it's taking place during the Second Age, and this is thousands of years before the Third Age, which is where the Lord of the Rings takes place. So this is Sauron the Deceiver being Sauron the Deceiver. This is when he first comes into power after Morgoth fell, which is his master. So
Again,
the problem with it is it doesn't
Ben.
need to happen because again we're getting a villain's backstory, and this is frustrating too because in my opinion Sauron did all this shit as a fucking floating eye in a tower without his ring, and he was able to raise an army and almost win, and so now we're gonna go back and see him in his mortal, or not mortal, but his more ethereal form,
his elven
his
form.
Yeah, where he's one of the Maiar walking around, and deceiving all these people. I'm not excited for it.
Not gonna
I'm
watch it
for it all.
It's not gonna be
Unless
great.
we
And
decide to
he'd
cover
be-
it for the podcast, I'm not gonna watch it.
And he's gonna be
I mean,
him and his
I'm
mom are
down
gonna be a
to.
slave to Watto, and he's gonna do he's gonna fucking pot race.
Yeah,
Are
and then
you
we're gonna
an
talk
idiot?
about Sauron's midichlorians. So it's gonna be
Off the
Ben,
charts.
Ben,
Yeah.
give me some young Anakin doing that language.
Young Anakin doing the language.
Then when he's speaking to Watto, and that, some of that. Oh, Gonzo be
Oh.
so.
Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
¿Qué
it's-
pasa? Something, something.
Yeah, Wabatuba
I swear he's
Lava.
just
Oh,
speaking
it's,
Spanish.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasas, kid?
So dumb. And
Wanna
I hate when
jump
he's
in?
talking to
You wanna
Sabota.
wonga?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but nothing
Yeah.
will beat Han Mi Boogie. That'll be the
Han
word.
Mi
That's the word. Han Mi Boogie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I mentioned it on this podcast or on anything but Star Wars, but the Huttese actually has its own like written language, or it's like there are parts of Huttese that are basically translated, so there are like specific phrases that do exist.
Yeah.
They're not just random noises. It's like
I never realized you're sitting in like a very skinny hallway or something, Ben. Like now
it's
with
like,
the curtains up,
yeah,
I realize you're
you
sitting in
know.
like a hovel.
No,
How
it's
wide
not
is
a
that?
hovel.
It's
It's
a
a
nook.
It's a nook.
It's a
The nook.
It's a cranny.
It's a
Yeah.
cranny.
Yeah.
How you say nooks
How
and
you
crannies?
say-
Nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
his word.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I
Alcove?
like nooks and
Alcove.
crannies better than
Alcoves.
alcoves.
Yeah.
You use this word, alcoves?
Where's
You
this
got. You
from?
have to watch In Bruges.
from
John.
In
that's
Bruges.
from In
It's a
Bruges.
fantastic movie. Give it another
That's
shot.
Oh man.
You
I'll
didn't
give it
even.
another
You didn't
shot.
even
Now we
finish
got
it the first
fucking.
time.
Now we got fucking inside jokes that
Yeah.
Daryl doesn't.
That
know
I don't know
he's
anything
gone
about.
over.
Yeah.
Glad that's a
dang.
list of
You're an
inside jokes I
inanimate
didn't know about.
fucking object.
You're an inanimate fucking object. I'm sorry, I
good.
called you an inanimate object. But God, that sucks. And you said there was 3 prequels, so we've got Lord of the Rings, Game
Something.
of Thrones.
No,
and-
I'm saying there are 3 scheduled Game of Thrones prequels.
What does that mean? How could there possibly be 3 of them?
I don't know.
What? I bet you there's seasons. I'll bet you it's like a.
God, I hope so.
Fucking. What's the? We covered this a while ago. The FX show.
Oh, Fargo, like
Fargo. You
anthologies.
know how like Fargo is like each season is something totally different.
Oh, sure.
Maybe, but I don't know.
I'll bet you that's
man.
what they're gonna do.
I really
I
think
hope.
they're gonna try and cash in on this and make it a full-on series.
3
Cash
whole
in
separate
on
series. Would they
what?
each have their own multiple seasons?
There
I
is
think so.
nothing to
There's
cash in
no
on.
This
with
is not
Game of
based on
way.
anything, but I think so.
Who's
I-
doing
That's like
this?
God. Just
Amazon
like,
Prime is the one doing the Lord of the Rings prequels, and then
Yeah.
HBO, I assume, is doing the.
They're
Oh,
gonna, it's
that's
definitely
right,
gonna
Game of
stay
Thrones.
an HBO property. They're
they're
never gonna give
that's
that
their
up.
cash cow.
Yeah,
but there's nothing to cash in on. I mean, they fucking shit the bed already. Like,
that's what I think.
I
So,
can't
I
imagine.
Yeah,
think
they
it's
created
more-
so much bad will.
They really did.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram ad for HBO Max a while ago. It might have still been called HBO Go at the time. And the Instagram ad was advertising the fact that you can go back if you get, with the free trial, go back and relive the great Game of Thrones moments. It was like a Game of Thrones ad, like go back and watch Game of Thrones, get HBO Max. And I clicked on the comment section of this Instagram advertisement, and the entire comment section, just hundreds and hundreds of comments of people just shitting on Game of Thrones. Like, are you kidding me? After season 8? Nope. It's like, man,
There's
that
no
was a
saving
dumb
it, man.
idea to advertise Game of Thrones.
I mean,
I mean,
season 8 created more bad will than like any ending I think I've ever seen. You know, like, and I know that other
It
shows
was worse
had
than
bad
Lost.
endings. Like Lost had a ending that people didn't like.
But yeah, this was definitely worse than Lost because we had higher expectations for Game of Thrones. It's funny, we're bringing this up. I want to talk about this too. It's like this is the problem with the internet, though, right? Too. It's like we helped destroy Game of Thrones as fans because everybody couldn't shut the fuck up about it. You know what I mean?
Are you
Like
saying
all
that
this
the expectations got way too high?
That's part of it, but everybody wouldn't shut the fuck up about it between seasons. Like everybody theorized so goddamn much that they theorized all the like by the time, if you didn't pay attention to any internet, which is almost impossible these days, right? We knew that Jon Snow was a Targaryen before it happened because everyone fucking all the time about it. And that's cool that everybody loves it that much, but take a fucking break. And because dude, there was videos on it, and here's the reasons
YouTube
why.
videos,
and they're fucking do family trees, and it's amazing that everyone can do all this stuff now. But it's also part of the goddamn problem. Just like let it alone. Let the writers, let the creators do their fucking thing instead of ruining it for fucking everybody. Because it's almost impossible to.
I don't know. I actually have a problem with
these accidental spoilers.
I have a problem with the creators too. I think this is actually in relation to Lost. I can't remember exactly, but there was some rumor that like Lost was going to have a different ending, but because like it got guessed, they decided to try to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fault of the writers, not necessarily the fault of the people that are like coming up with intelligent.
It did that in Game of Thrones too. They say as much.
Oh, maybe that's what happened with Game of Thrones?
Well, in one of those, I think it was like the season 7 or the season 6, like one of those behind the episode things on HBO that you can watch. They actually talked about it, and they talked about how they really try to avoid hearing any kind of fan theories. They try and avoid it as much as possible, but they tend to, if they do hear one, specifically go out of their way to not run with that because they don't want that outside influence. So if they feel like they might be getting influence from the outside of the fan theory, they
we lose Jeremy.
Oh, we're losing Jeremy.
We lost Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy's stuck.
Hold on.
But honestly,
hey,
Jeremy, you're back.
Yeah, he's back.
We lost
Sorry,
you.
we lost you for a second.
Oh, there he goes again.
Oh, he's very tired.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're cutting in and out.
There you go.
Okay.
But to respond to your point, just gonna say I think that's the stupidest approach as a writer.
I think it's dumb because then you're just. I mean, some people probably have a decent idea of how to take the show. Like you're just gonna completely write it all off.
Why not take inspiration from good ideas?
Get this
in general.
This has been happening forever, right? So, 1982, Wrath of Khan. They originally Spock was going to die earlier in the film, way earlier in the film, but it got leaked, and you know who leaked it? Harv Bennett, not Harv Bennett. I'm sorry, he was a producer. I can't remember the original creator of Star Trek. The original creator of Star Trek leaked.
Doug?
God, I'm not. Well, I work with this guy. He's in his 30s, and I do this all the time now. And I'm like, dude, this is a problem of getting old. You lose your train of thought all the time. You forget what the fuck you were talking about 2 seconds ago. But I can't remember the name of the original creator of Star Trek. But he leaked, and how they knew that he leaked the script. And this wasn't online, obviously, because it was 1982. They knew that he leaked the script because they had different versions of the script go to different high-ranking officials, and they had specific mistakes in the script.
They fucking Tyrion Lannistered him. He did this. He did this to Grandmaster Pycelle, Littlefinger.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's how he figures out who was the
that's what
snitch.
they did. Is the producer
Gene Roddenberry?
Gene Roddenberry. They all got the same script, but with different mistakes in it. So they know who leaked the script when it got leaked, and it was fucking Gene Roddenberry, that motherfucker, because he hated what was going. Well, he's the one who was in full control of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which I really, really like, but it also really desperately wants to be 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it is not, right? But it's the same type of head trippy, and so the critics of Star Trek 2 were like, basically got him out of there. He was basically thrown off the set at one time. In fact, they're like, "We're gonna make this good. We're gonna make this good, and interesting and fun to watch. which is what they did. That's why these two
Rathacon
movies
is
are
very
so
well
vastly
received.
different. Star Trek: The Motion Picture was $42 million budget, and Rathacon was 11,
Oh wow.
Wow.
maybe 14 million. They slashed the budget. They're like, you got to
Mhm.
do it with this.
Good lord.
But it's a vastly better film. Rathacon's still the best Star Trek film that has ever come out. You know what I mean? But even back then, scripts were getting leaked and stories, and they had to modify in the middle of a shoot, which is
Right.
crazy to me. So speaking of all fucking script leakers and over theorizers and everything out there, get a fucking life. Just stop. Do something else. Get a fucking hobby. You're a fucking asshole. You're the worst type of human being if you release scripts or overthink something and ruin it for everybody else. Just stop fucking doing it.
Looking at you, Star Wars theory.
I'm looking at
Mm.
exactly. I understand loving something so much that you love it, but just let them do their thing first before you shit all over it or over theorize. Again, that's the problem with Game of Thrones. It's almost inescapable, the over theorization about stories. You couldn't even escape it. You would accidentally click on something, and now and it would fly, and you're like, "Fuck," you know what I mean?
Yeah, or even if it just came up, I remember especially in that gap between season 7 and season 8, the amount of Game of Thrones theory videos that were just circulating YouTube. Even if you never watched one, it would probably end up in your recommended feed, and then you'd end up, there would be a potential spoiler. I guess you don't know for sure, but there would be all kinds of potential spoilers right there in the title. So you just open up YouTube, and then there's a bunch of titles for a bunch of Game of Thrones theories that you don't want.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Right.
And
again,
some of them were really spoilers too. That's the crazy thing, like Jon Snow being a Targaryen and all that.
Yeah.
But again, like the idea that writers specifically are avoiding using fan theories, I think, is just absurd. It's completely hogwash. It's like, oh well, because the implication is that the fan theories had good ideas, and so to me that just sounds like your list of good ideas for where to take the story is just like shrinking and shrinking until it's like completely non-existent. If you're saying like every time I hear a fan theory I try to go in a different direction, it to me it's just like the most obnoxious thing in the world. It's like, just
Ben,
write something good.
Look, you gotta subvert expectations.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Wait, Knives Out's getting a sequel, by the way. I didn't think it was that good.
I read it's getting a second and a third movie.
They sold for a lot of money. I think they sold for like what?
I don't
11
get it.
million?
I watched it. It was okay. I hated. We got ourselves a mystery in the bayou. God, it was terrible.
A murder in Savannah.
I also was thinking it was Michael Scott the whole fucking time. We got a murder in Savannah the whole time. I'm like, people like this. This movie sucks. I mean,
it was okay. Like Knives Out. A lot.
It was okay.
I liked it. I
thought it was a fun movie.
I think it was very on the nose. So
it didn't feel like when they revealed the mystery, I was like, was this a mystery? I don't know. I just didn't feel like.
So the guy that they suspected the entire time was the guy. Yeah.
And I'm like,
dude who was clearly the asshole ended up being the big asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of saw that coming, and I'm not smart. I don't sit there and watch them. Oh, ha! I figured it out. I just let them do their thing because I'm not smart.
Right.
But I don't know. I just didn't think it was as great as everybody thinks it was as great as.
But you know what the best mystery film of all time was actually is
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
The second G.I. Joe movie, where at the end the president turns out to be the guy that whistles for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow." You remember this movie?
I don't have
the second G.I. Joe.
Neither
like
one of them.
Most recent one.
Oh, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe movies.
Really?
Yeah. There's
I don't
a scene,
even remember.
So there's a guy who's part of Cobra, and every time he's on screen, he's like, he literally just whistles this all the time. And then at the very end of the movie, because Washington D.C. gets threatened, they rush the president underground and then into like the bunker. And in the last scene, in like the after credit sequence, probably is the president singing or whistling for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow," and you're like, oh, he's the guy from Cobra. The Cobra's in the president now.
What is he, Destro or something?
I think he is something. Yeah, whoever it is. I don't remember the
Was it
characters.
Silverface guy? The Silverface guy? I think
No,
that's
it
right.
was like the assassin dude.
Oh, okay.
But the implication is that, like, in G.I. Joe 3, which we're clearly going to
never
get
gonna
someday
happen.
soon now, Cobra.
They've only done 2. I thought they already did 3 of them.
No, they stopped after 2 because it didn't do well.
It was too good.
It
But
was just
2
they
doesn't
they
2
knew they
have
couldn't
Bruce
top
Willis?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure 2 has Bruce Willis, right?
I think at this point, and I love me some Bruce Willis, but I think at this point, if you're putting in Bruce Willis in a film, it's gonna pull it down a bit. He's lost. His stars lost a bit of its shine.
Look, all I'm saying is that G.I. Joe 2 is clearly the best movie for that specific.
Subverted your expectations.
Wow.
That was. I mean, you don't get any better than that, right? So like,
You don't.
they peaked in 2008 or whenever when that.
Know
fucking
about
movie came
this.
See, I could have sworn they had done 3 of these things. I could have sworn there
They
was
definitely
3 of them.
set themselves up for a third movie, but they knew they couldn't surpass the Majesty of 2, so they just gave up.
The Majesty of 2 of G.I. Joe 2. Oh,
This time
man,
it's
that's-
personal. Oh, you know
Yeah,
what? The other day, me and Doug, my brother, were talking about how great and terrible Jaws 3 in 3D is. So we watched it again the other day. Wow, what a shit steam film! It's really bad. It's so bad.
That's
Test
where
of
the
energy.
shark breaking the glass comes from.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
And it takes an hour like to swim for it, and it's not even swimming; it's just moving towards the glass. And it's 35 feet, right? So you can break
It's
it.
building tension, you know.
That movie felt like Kong versus Back to our
Godzilla.
movie, where it's just stuff happens, things are said, there's no character development, and just stuff happens. So we've been doing this for a long time, since the 80s. But I tell you what, the first time I saw Kong 3 in 3D, Jaws 3 in 3D, I was 10 years old. It was the most amazing film I'd ever seen in my life. I'm telling you right now, guys, it was incredible. And I got these cards from the local liquor store, and they were Jaws 3 in 3D cards, and it came with a stick of gum, and the stick of gum tasted more like cardboard than the cardboard cards did. And this is where I
You
also
do a
learned.
chew test.
Yes,
Compare
I
them
was like,
both.
this cardboard. Oh, this one's gum. This one's cardboard. And also, it's where I learned the word chaos,
Oh,
because I didn't know what chaos meant. 'Cause it said something about chaos.
Yeah.
And I was like, what
you
the
know,
fuck is
classic
chaos? And then my brother Doug's like, it's chaos, you dumbass.
You can hear Amber laughing at you in the background.
Yeah. My youngest daughter was laughing because I didn't know what chaos was. I was confused about the chaos, Amber. How dare you?
Don't be mad at him because he doesn't know what Chaos is.
I don't know
Yeah.
chaos.
It gets
I
to
thought
that
Chaos
stuff.
was like one of the dudes in the show. So that runs another thing. So when Clash of the Titans came out in 1983,
Ooh, the original.
we were very excited about Clash of the Titans. And I remember saying, hey, let's go play Clash of the Titans. I'm going to be Clash. Because I figured Clash was a guy.
Hey, Daryl.
And then
Man,
Doug was
you're-
there again. Doug was there
That
again
laugh
because
in the
Doug's
background is so good.
Yeah,
yeah.
Amber has no.
cackling.
Oh
She
man,
figured out.
Yeah,
the
Cash
bar
in
is
the background.
the
She
bar
knows how
is
dumb I
so
am now.
low.
And that's
Daryl, that's pretty dumb, man.
And that's when, oh, dude, I'm not smart. And that's when Doug was there again. Like, dude, you're a complete idiot. It's Perseus. This is Greek mythology. Because I was stupid, right? But I thought Clash was, Clash of the Titans. It made sense to
Like,
me.
my name is
Like he's-
Clash,
like
and
he's
I am
Clash
of the
Stop
Titans.
laughing.
Ah,
I just figured it was the guy named Clash of the Titans, right? It
Did you
makes
think
sense.
that Remember the Titans was the sequel to Clash of the Titans?
With Denzel.
why isn't the lead's
like an odd
name
name.
Why
Remember?
is it suddenly a football movie? I
Yeah,
just don't
seemed like an
understand.
odd name. First name, remember, last name,
Of the Titans.
Titans.
the name of the.
Oh,
So, yeah.
God. Well,
But she's
That's
still in there
still laughing.
cackling.
so should we give our scores?
Yeah, let's
of,
give our-
Godzilla
Oh.
versus
Yeah.
Kong?
Well, I mean, we only. It's an hour and 18-minute podcast, and we only did 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, there's your score.
I
but-
mean,
Not
yeah,
a lot
that's
to
just
really
I-
sink your teeth
I think
into.
we
what's
covered
up with
it
the
pretty
puns
quick.
today?
Nice.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I give this one a 1.
A
This
1,
is
yeah.
one of those movies where I was checking the time about 10 minutes into the movie, and I was like,
Yeah, right.
oh.
I think
it
I
was-
did somewhere like around that
oh,
15-minute
man.
mark. I was like,
I mean,
It
it's
was
a
so
40
much
minute
more
It
to
was
this,
just not good.
Only 145 to go. Yeah.
Oh, I'd absolutely give this movie a 1. I was so bored watching this movie. There was nothing redeemable about it. I didn't even like the action. There was one camera move that I liked, and it was the one in the sea fight when I think it's the pilot when he ejects or something. It follows one
That
of the
was
jets,
pretty cool.
and it does this
That was
like
pretty cool.
loop. The camera loops around
Yeah,
and
yeah,
follows
yeah.
him,
Yeah,
and then goes
that
back
was
again.
cool.
That was a
pretty
really cool shot. That was it. Everything else was laughable. This is the problem with not giving a shit about a movie or the writing. You're just like, oh, these people just want to see giant monsters fight. Then give
We
that to
do.
us.
Just
I
give
would love
me
that.
And just give us
Yeah.
that.
Don't make it a full 5 minutes of the movie. And then also I hate this shit where they make a versus movie, but the main bad guy, it requires a team up of the two guys fighting each other. Stop. Make them fight each other to the death. Kong lost. That's it. Wrap it up.
And I love how Godzilla's like, well, his ass is kicked enough.
Yeah,
No,
it doesn't
kill him.
him. Yeah, it's
Kill
like
him.
he's
guys
still-
are
monsters
mortal
do.
enemies.
He's still a potential apex predator.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of him.
Kill him.
You've also proved
killed all
in
the other
last
ones.
movie,
Yeah.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. You don't need to make this movie. If he's
say
if
that-
he's gonna kill
wait,
everybody.
Danon, hold on, Danon. Your heartbeat is slowing down.
You know what? Land a fucking spaceship on my chest and zap me, dude. Because apparently these things double as defibrillators. It was
Don't you know?
ridiculous, dude. This guy who
Should've
has
let him die.
never flown anything like this is not trained to fly this fucking magic
Wow.
spaceship. It
Like a
can land
bicycle,
it
right?
on the Kong and flip a couple of switches.
Land it on a Kong.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Should have let
dude.
Kong die, and
Oh.
you should have let Mega Godzilla kill regular Godzilla, and,
And
then,
then-
no more Titans.
Humans would have been
Exactly.
saved. Oh.
Yeah, the guy who's like humans should be the apex. Yes, when there's crazy monsters that come out of the sea and murder people.
Indiscriminately are
they
your best
feel-
friend and also kill you.
Yeah, just kill them.
We don't need these
Let's
things.
kill them.
Yeah, it's not
Let's
even
get those out of the
murder,
way. They seem
'cause-
like a bit of a wild card.
Yeah, murder.
You know?
Murder's
They're atomic
premeditated.
breath and
This
they're-
is just straight
Yeah,
up
yeah.
manslaughter, just walking through a city and slaughtering thousands of people. These monsters can't exist. It
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
happen. Also, if you've shown in every movie that whatever humans have, whatever weapons that they have, does nothing against these monsters, stop fucking shooting them.
Yeah, it gets a
Every
little-
missile that they fire at Godzilla and King Kong does nothing.
just rolls
Also,
right
it's
off their
just
back
the
like water.
jet-
It just turns them around.
Why do
Yeah.
the jets fly like 10 feet off the ground when they're fighting these things? That's not how fucking jets work. Jets are like above the clouds.
Dude,
And these
Godzilla
jets
just.
are like right.
If
at
I had a
fucking eye
nickel
level.
for every time Godzilla just tail whips one of these jets out of the air.
You think that these
Like,
jets
why you
that can
so-
fire missiles from miles away
Let's get a little higher. Let's
could
let's,
be like,
let's
let's
bring it up a
just
little bit.
let's just fly outside of his range.
Nope.
Like,
No, that's too. Let's go right next
Yeah.
to his mouth.
Yeah.
You know,
So
oh
yeah.
no, he
Why
bit
do his
my plane in
fucking mouth-
half.
He just snatches them out of the air.
Mhm.
Like, he's literally can just reach out and grab them.
Yeah, so 1. I give this movie a 1 out of 10. I will not watch this movie again. It was
No.
terrible. I didn't care about anything happening on the screen. I also don't like this rendition of Godzilla. It's ugh. I was actually frustrated watching this movie. I was frustrated that I had to watch it so I could talk about it on the podcast. I was not having a good time. This is also when I had spent, I had gotten no sleep from camping because of these two fucking assholes fighting in the next campsite over. So I was
Oh, I thought
coming
you were
off
talking
of,
about Godzilla.
that's a more
and Kong.
fascinating story.
no,
What
that would have
happened-
been better. I would have loved
Would've
to
been
see
better to talk
redneck
about our
versus
camp trip.
douchebag. I would have gone over there, shined a flashlight on them both, and said,
I
"This
said
is
that
great."
somebody clearly slept in the wrong tent. Like, I think that's. I
What
think
was
that's
it?
happened.
A man and a woman fighting?
It was definitely. It was a man and a woman, and then another woman.
Yeah,
Oh fuck!
Oh,
that's
dang.
terrible.
it's
Yeah. And
Probably
like,
one of them goddamn polyamory fucking things going on.
yep.
unbeknownst to one of them, probably.
Yeah, he's cheating on one of his cousins with his other cousin.
No, it's to one of them.
But
Them
either
fucking
way,
covert polyamory going on.
covert polyamory.
Covert polyamory is playing at the Weenie
What
Roast
were
this
they
Friday.
fighting? Yeah, covert polyamory is playing the Winning Race. What were
We
they
have no
fighting
idea.
about?
We
I
couldn't
don't
tell,
Probably
we just
who
heard
is the
shouting.
apex predator.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Oh, no, fuck you! It was
Yeah.
fucking Godzilla.
I'm a lizard. Well, I'm a monkey.
The third chick came in like, "Fuck you both! It's Mecha
A
Godzilla."
mega monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, terrible. 1 out of
Uh,
10. That's it.
I would give
I'm
this
angry.
movie. Man, I'd give this movie a 3 out of 10. I guess.
Oh, generous.
Generous, right? Yeah. I mean, I would never recommend this movie to anybody. Don't watch it. But
Please.
the problem is, it's not like it's not even bad enough to like be entertaining in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and the action scenes are like too limited and just not good enough. You know, like if you're gonna, I think if you're gonna make a movie like this, the action, like the action needs to be either extremely hammy to the point where you're like, oh man, it's such a joy to watch how stupid this is.
Power
Or
Rangers.
Right. Like, imagine if like Godzilla or Kong like freaking, WWE like suplexed
right.
some dude.
I want
Like a power
Kong.
bomb?
Yeah, I want
That
him
would
to
be
give
funny.
Godzilla the people's elbow.
That would have been
Fucking
funny.
Undertaker.
Jumps
that
off the
guy.
top rope,
Yeah.
Yeah, just like-
that would have been something.
I mean, I think that's honestly the right way to do it. If you're gonna do something like this, then you need to. If you're gonna cater to the audience and not give a shit about your movie, then like do that.
Then cater to the audience.
Make it
Yeah,
fun.
this movie didn't really cater to the audience because it was just like there was a whole lot of nothing entertaining at all the entire time.
Did they attempt a story? I don't even know. It's like
I
it feels
don't
like
know.
they're not
I
trying.
don't imagine
It's just like don't
anybody
try.
thought this movie was gonna be good. I'm sure Millie Bobby Brown was like, "Fuck, I hope this like nobody remembers that I was in this." Like honestly, like it's just a bad movie. It's like at least Psycho Goreman is something for some people, but this is very much nothing for anybody.
That's a good point.
As stupid as that movie was, there's still there's a group of people out there going to love that type of shit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We
this
get
is,
it,
I
so.
am convinced that this is a nothing for nobody movie. Like it is
Yeah.
it's just crap. It's complete crap. You maybe put it on in the background, like while you're doing your taxes or something. Like
like
it
it's
came
a
out during
sleeping
tax
movie.
season.
Yeah.
Tax movie
Because your
is sleeping
taxes are
movie.
more interesting than this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, dude. I mean, this was just bad. I disliked it a lot. So yeah, 3 out of 10. Just because like once you start to get to 1s and 2s, it's like it starts to get into like that almost Wonder Woman level of like, at least this is funny. This wasn't even funny. It was just annoying. The whole
Yeah, it was
thing.
just boring.
Just sucked. I did not like it.
Yeah. It was not good.
I had no feeling watching this goddamn thing. I just was bored. The whole kind of thing. I was like, well, let me just get through this because we're going to talk about it on the podcast, which is why I give it a 1, 2, I guess. A 1 or a 2. It doesn't really matter. I don't give it anything, really. Can I give it nothing?
Give it nothing.
Sure.
You
yeah.
get
It's just
Yeah.
it deserves
Not
nothing.
even
It's
a
just
rating.
they didn't try. It's like I wouldn't even say it's cookie cutter. Even something that's cookie cutter follows a framework of a story. This movie doesn't even try. They just throw shit at the screen and just stuff happens and who cares? And it was just boring. And like again, I'd never watch it again. It's not like if even the action was good enough to well, at least that one fight scene was great. But it's like I'll use The Road Warrior, going back way back right now, as an example of a movie that everyone talks about is the action of that movie that happens in the last 13 minutes of the fucking movie is action. There's no action in that movie. I know nobody thinks there is, but there's none until the last 13 minutes.
I haven't seen
So
that movie in a long time.
the preparation for the action was good enough that that's all you remember is the action.
Right.
I'm telling you, watch it again. It's a long, slow movie. There's no real action. There's a little bit at the beginning. There's a lot of them guy yelling at the thing, just walk away. Humongous yelling at the thing. The action does not happen until the end when they actually leave and blow up the refinery and the drive go away on the tanker and the bus. That's when the action happens. It's 13 minutes. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Is like if they just instead of wasting all the time not having a story, just try something. Cut down your characters, cut a half your characters out. Just focus on one. Just focus on the little girl and Kong's relationship. Would have been more interesting and why. And he, fucking Godzilla's trying to kill this girl for some reason. Something, anything. Give him a reason to fucking fight. You know? Don't have
Yeah,
Mecha Godzilla. It was too many
girl
characters,
is
too
made
much
out
shit.
of- She's made out of the nuclear energy that Godzilla needs to survive.
Yeah, she's got a nuclear liver. Something, anything. I should go liver girl.
You have to. That's why
Skull
she's
Island,
deaf.
They
They had to sacrifice. They had to sacrifice virgins in Skull Island because that's what powers Godzilla. But then Skull Island got infected by the rest of the world, and so there's no longer sacrificing virgin girls, and she's the last virgin girl, and Godzilla needs to eat her.
Yeah,
and King Kong's gonna save her.
It would have been more interesting.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Even that would have been more interesting.
Mhm.
I would have watched that.
Yeah.
We watched this.
Yeah,
So
We
really
watched
that.
this.
I have a good point. So what you could have done, like a tiny little bit of like writing effort, is you're making Mecha Godzilla out of one of Ghidorah's skulls.
Yeah.
Have
Which
the
everyone
ghost of Ghidorah take over Mecha Godzilla.
I think that is what is implied.
I
That
thought
is
that was
implied,
the
but they
implication.
don't say that at all. It just kind of just happens.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the
Yeah.
guy dies, and then it's almost like the thing short circuits and then has a mind of its own. Like
Well, you know,
you
Danon-
could have inserted a single line that fixes that problem, but
But
they
we had a
didn't
really
even
funny
do that.
joke from that though, which
That's
was
true.
the guy going, "Oh, I really wanted to know what he was going to say."
Yeah, hilarious. You just watched a
know-
guy get crushed to death in front of him.
I know,
You
right?
know,
You make a
guys,
joke.
there's always the chance that we get our Snyder cut.
Thank God. And I hope the entire thing is in 4:3 for no fucking reason because the movie wasn't shot that way.
yeah.
It's
That'd be
actually got
great.
it's got a nightmare sequence with Godzilla.
Right.
King
And
Kong,
this version is actually 6 hours.
right,
Oh, okay.
And and the Martian Manhunter is there.
And Godzilla's actually a 17th century dandy.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your
Anyways,
rating, Jeremy?
Jeremy,
Yeah, man. Okay, look. I
banner,
think
please,
I'd
500.
probably give this like a 1.5.
Hmm.
1.5. Is it
Generous.
quite a 1? I don't know. I guess it could be a 1. Here's why it's not a 1. Because sometimes when I looked up from my phone, I was like, "Oh, that's it."
You want to know
And
what?
there have been movies where I never looked up from my phone
Yeah, right.
to say anything. But this one, a couple
I don't
times I
know.
looked up and I was like, I saw like Godzilla getting punched, and I was like, "Oh."
Punching
And
his
then I went back
tiny-
to my
yeah, got his punching his tiny
So
punching his tiny head.
1.5, yeah. Honestly, man, if this, all you had to do, this could have been a slam dunk. Not a slam dunk, but this could have been really easy. Just make them fight for a lot more of the movie, make it rated R so that the action was meaningful. You
right.
see people get crushed to death, and you're like, whatever. Like, make it rated R so that the action is good and gritty. Like, this is like supposed to be all those other movies that this is a sequel to. They have way more action.
Yeah.
Than this one. And this movie is literally a versus movie. The whole premise is about a fight. The whole premise is about two monsters fighting. And it has probably the least monster fighting action of
Yeah.
any of these movies.
And again, if you're gonna have
So-
that little monster fighting, build it up as to why they're fighting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
So,
can also
so
make the
that-
movie like half as long.
I think
Yeah,
Dawn of
exactly.
Justice had more confrontation between the two, between Superman
probably.
and Batman.
I think
Even
we did get
even
a
in
Martha.
as
I
like
think we got a Martha
humans or
moment though in
whatever.
this movie.
You know,
For
it's,
sure.
Why
We
did
got a
you want to
Say
know
that
something? You want to know
name.
it was
something
kind of
funny?
Martha-ish though, because they team up like Batman and Superman team
It's
up.
true. Yeah. So Samba TV, and I don't know where they're getting their metrics from, but they report that 3.6 million households watched at least the first 5 minutes of the film. Does
Nice.
that mean that a lot of people dropped off after the first 5 minutes, or are they only able to track the first 5 minutes? I don't know, but that is not a good stat I want on anything,
That's a weird.
especially a
You know,
movie
the
that's
thing
too-
is,
like-
at 5 minutes in, you still don't know. You can't tell how good this movie's going to be if you only watch the first 5 minutes.
you
I
make
mean,
it
you
so-
can
I,
get an idea.
I had a pretty good.
You can get an idea, but at 5 minutes in, I was still holding out for at least one really cool monster fight,
Mm.
and I got 0 cool monster fights.
What
Yeah.
about the boat fight?
What about this? This is really piss you off.
Worst one.
Yeah.
Have you guys looked it up
Horrible.
on Rotten Tomatoes or anything?
Mm-mm.
How much?
No.
What do you guess the rating is on Rotten Tomatoes? What percentage?
Audience score or
86.
Audience score.
audience
86.
score? You think it's an 86? Gosh, I think it's
I
like
think,
a 70.
Well, dude, you can't trust fucking Rotten Tomatoes anymore.
You can't.
Anyways, after the
Uh,
last
but
fucking
it-
Jedi. But
It
that's
did
true.
receive generally positive reviews from critics. Got a 75%
critics?
in Rotten Tomatoes.
These fuckers are all bought anyways.
An average
Those
rating of 6.4 out of 10. Are you kidding me? 6.4 out of 10.
You're a bunch
is
of
very
idiots.
high.
You're so dumb. That's not.
I think
That
this
can't
is-
be.
I think this is pandemic brain.
Pandemic
right?
boredom.
The pandemic boredom brain. It's
guess
also
so.
like remember the same thing had happened. Like when Dan and I went and saw Gravity in the theater, it was amazing. And then when I rented it, not so amazing. And this would have been better in
Mhm.
the theater too, because It needed
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
It made Godzilla better for me. I still don't think Godzilla was all that great, but it made it better because it was in the movie theater.
oh, I think watching that first Godzilla movie, the 2014 one in the theater, a packed theater, was actually really cool. Like, I remember when I watched it with our friend Andrew Terratilli, and when Godzilla rips open the mouth of the other monster and like breathes fire straight into it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a packed theater, and everyone was like, "Oh!" Like, there's some energy in the room.
That one, the Muto.
That might have helped if there
Yeah.
was some energy in the room. There, right, with the fight
Yeah.
scenes, might have been cool with the loud sound system. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A movie like this, you kind of have to watch in the theater to make it better.
Yeah,
Because it lacks in
and maybe some of
everything.
that center of the earth stuff might have been cool to see in theaters.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Actually, I'll say I think one of the more entertaining fight scenes with that little fight scene that he has with the weird flying
things. That was actually pretty cool when he slams it down on that rock and
That might have been the best fight
impales
scene.
it. Okay, what is your guys' favorite monster movie? And like, I'm talking like big monster movie.
Mm.
We're talking about the time or.
Yeah, it's got to be
Of all time.
of all time. Yeah, I would say it's that Handycam one,
Oh, Cloverfield?
Cloverfield.
I was gonna say Cloverfield too. That's my favorite monster movie.
Cloverfield is easily my favorite monster movie. I have a soft spot for the old Godzilla movies, but I recognize that they're not very good.
I like the old
like
Godzilla
Nick
movies too.
Topolis.
Nick Totopoulos, yeah. This
That's it.
one's harder for me to answer because of nostalgia reasons, right? Because I grew up on the Godzilla films, and I knew they were shit back then, but we still loved them.
Right.
I also grew up on all the King Kong films. And like I was saying, the 76 version of King Kong, I love for nostalgic reasons, but probably the best monster movie would have to be Cloverfield. I think
What's that other one?
I really like it.
Red 8, Super 8, Super 8.
Super 8. It's
Super
not
8's
really
good too, but
it's more of an
Super 8 is a
alien
love
movie.
letter to.
It's a Spielberg movie,
Steven
but made
Spielberg
by
movies.
J.J. Abrams.
It's exactly what it is. I really like Super 8, but that's exactly what it is. And I go into it, and I own it on the DVD and everything. But when I watch it, which I watch every couple of years, I go into it knowing that that's exactly what it is a love letter to Steven Spielberg from J.J. Abrams. Exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so then it bothers me less how much of a copy it is of all the Spielberg films.
Yeah,
But I still enjoy it. I think it's good. I like it. You know what I mean? But
my favorite, and I could be nostalgic for me too, because the first time I saw it, I was pretty young, but I really liked it, and then I rewatched it recently, and I still thought it was pretty good. Was the Tom Cruise remake of War of the Worlds?
Oh,
That's
that's a
great.
good one. That's a
I
really
really
good
like that
I
movie,
actually
I really
don't-
like that movie.
I don't mind that.
and I
movie,
think
yeah.
it's a good. I mean, I know it's at Aliens, but I think it's basically a monster movie.
The
Yeah.
tripods are, yeah, I think that counts.
Yeah, like
It's got
I mean, I
a
think-
cop-out ending. I think the ending is the only thing that's a problem with that movie.
yeah, I agree
hate
with that.
Robbie's alive. I hate that so much. It pisses me off.
Oh my
I think it was
gosh.
annoying to begin with, but how the fuck does he walk into the war wherever he's dying, and then he shows up at the house later? Fuck you.
He's there at
movie.
the end. Yeah,
It's the only
no.
thing that I didn't like about that movie, really. But I really like War of the Worlds. Me and Amber
Yeah.
just watched it recently.
It's a really good.
It's
I
got a
think
lot
that-
of great parts, man.
I
And
think that
it's
might be my favorite monster
scary.
movie. It's really scary. The basement scene is like
Oh my
so
God.
good.
Fucking
Not my
intense.
blood. Not
So
my blood.
freaking good.
really good.
So
Yeah.
intense,
Mhm.
man. Yeah.
So I think that's my favorite.
That's a
Andy
good one.
Dufresne is great in it as that the
Mhm.
crazy guy who's just absolutely lost his shit, hiding in his
Oh,
basement.
yeah.
That is
Just
pretty
fucking
crazy.
great, man.
That is a great
The
scene.
fact that he had the Tom Cruise, like I love that part too. He has the
Dakota
Fanning girl,
Fanning?
Dakota Fanning,
Dakota Fanning
has her sing
Dakota Fanning.
"Hushabye Mountain"
Yeah.
from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
While he goes
while
and
he's
murders that guy.
killing this
Oh
guy,
my God.
It's the most intense fucking scene.
Yeah.
The plane crash scene is intense as fuck.
And
No, I
Mhm.
really,
Crash
what we're talking about, I
is
really like this
crazy.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really
like-
good movie.
I
It's
really
got its
like it.
flaws. It's got its flaws,
very
but
good.
Its flaws.
it's there's something terrifying about it where it seems
is.
very real in a way.
It
I
feels
think
very plausible.
the
Mhm.
thing about it is that it's grounded with a lot of other humans.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that are obviously there as fodder. But I mean that scene where they're in the car and they're like one of the only people with a car and they're trying to get
Yeah.
through the crowd and then the crowd
Oh
turns
my
on them.
gosh.
It's
And
so
the
intense.
people-
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and the people start like hitting their windows and shit.
And there's
yeah.
no music.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
rain, the sound of rain, and it's almost too fucking loud. The sound of the rain during that part, but no, it's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the movie feels very based in reality. Strangely
There's even
enough.
that scene where the girl just wants to go use the bathroom or something in privacy.
Yeah,
And she goes down to the river, and it's
River
like
of Bodies. It's
it's
great.
got
Oh my God,
bodies
I forgot
floating
about
down
that.
the whole river.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of grounded in reality. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy.
She never gets her piss. By the way, they just leave. Poor girl
Man.
is still sitting on a gallon of urine. No, it's and she's great. She's great in it. She's very believable. No, I really like that movie. Like I said, I watch that one probably about once a year. I like it so much.
Yeah.
Good movie.
And then
So-
everybody, I know there's a big problem with a lot of people have a problem with the ending and that all the aliens die of a flu, but
That's it.
that's
That's the
kinda
original story.
good enough, dude. Like, yeah, that's how that's H.G. Wells, right? Who wrote
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
And that's the original ending in the radio play,
Mhm.
and it's the original ending in the 56 version, I think it is. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I think the only problem.
That's how it ends.
The
So-
only problem
that's
with
fine
that ending, in my mind, is that throughout the movie, they're like, oh, the Chinese figured out how to defeat them, like about halfway through.
They start hearing rumblings that the Chinese.
Yeah, the Chinese
Figured it out or
figured it out,
something.
which
Yeah.
is like the ending is like, oh, so the Chinese are just like dirty, like
They're just coughing on him.
like this is
What
like
you got from that?
I mean, it's like, what else am I supposed to take from that? The Chinese figured it out. What were they throwing fucking smallpox blankets at the fucking monsters? Like, come on.
I
One
mean,
thing-
they can make jokes.
One
Can
thing
make
I
jokes
listen.
about
one thing I
Chinese
don't like-
flus.
Yeah, one thing I don't like. This is way before that. This is one thing I don't like about it is Morgan Freeman's
His narration.
dialogue
his
at the beginning and the end is
And
fucking.
Yeah.
the
good. That's not his fault.
monsters did
These
not-
monsters were beat by the worst thing you can get beat by. You know,
Mhm.
motherfucking AIDS or whatever.
fucking
But it's just like
birds.
we didn't need it, especially
Yeah.
with a movie that's a remake of a story.
Yeah.
It's so fucking well known at this point. We don't need a guy delivering exposition to clue us the fuck in as what happened, right? Everybody
at
at
the end
this
of the
point-
fucking movie, like Jesus, dude. Just
Yeah.
end-
Yeah.
we know what the fuck happened all too well, and anyone who doesn't get it, fuck them, is what I say. We don't need this unnecessary. And you know, we've talked about this many times. I hate fucking voiceover. I've hated it
Mhm.
since fucking. Like I just recently
Blade Runner,
watched
probably.
Blade Runner again, and it's the final cut, which is essentially the director's cut. They're very close. Just perfect without the fucking dialogue. Just fucking perfect, man. What a perfect fucking film. What a beautiful film. I'm still amazed at the special effects. They're so fucking good.
They're very
They're
smooth.
so fucking good.
Hmm.
I still have
Mhm.
never seen
They
the,
look great.
the final cut of that, actually.
It's essentially the director's cut. It's very
I've never
close.
seen the director's cut either. I've only seen the theatrical version.
Oh, best version is the director's or the final, either one.
I don't know which one I've seen, honestly.
It's like teardrops in the rain.
Might have seen. I've only seen Blade Runner like maybe 4 times ever.
Really,
So not enough
Yeah.
times.
I watched it
Yeah.
probably too. And I haven't seen the theatrical in so long.
I'm gonna look right now. 'cause
The-
I have it on DVD.
I need
See
to
if-
watch the theatrical again now to see what the differences were.
Yeah. Well, really quick before we end, the other monster movie is Cloverfield, and
Yeah.
the reason why that's my favorite too is because again, it's very grounded in reality.
Yeah.
It seems to me watching that movie many times over is it's they based it off of terrorist attacks, and so
Yes.
people's reaction to it, and then the military reaction to it, and
It's definitely based off 9/11.
yeah, and
Right.
so that in itself, I think makes it very terrifying too. There's a lot of really small things that they never really point out, but they're very, very human things. It's like in the very beginning of the movie when they're out on the street and they're running into the convenience store so Rob can look for a battery for his phone.
Yeah.
Is there's people looting the place, and
Yeah.
I think there's one line of dialogue that HUD gives. It's like, oh shit, there's people, they're looting, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
you get that scene where they're all watching the news coverage and everyone's got a ton of TVs under their arms, you know, because they're just like, okay, well, there's a national crisis. I'm just going to make the most out of this. There's stuff like that. I mean, I like how it's about the humans and it's not really about the Cloverfield monster, you know?
It's
Right.
just in the
You know?
background. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite found footage film for sure.
I
I think it's a great found footage film, and
That's
I'm not a
sweet, yeah.
fan of found footage, but I think that one totally nails it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Again, like so we're talking about, it feels real. It feels like this could really happen.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that guy gets eaten by the monster at the very end, and fucking.
Oh, yeah. Terrifying. I think the ending is a little lame when they're giving their eulogies, basically their own.
Well, and then they get nuked. I thought that was perfect. Way
That
to
is
end
great.
it. Yeah, I thought that was actually.
that was great. I got no problem
I
with that
thought
movie.
I thought their dialogue was a little lame, but I mean, they nuked in New York. Like they were literally at their end. They're like, we don't know what else
Yeah.
to do. Nothing is
And then
working. We just might as well fucking nuke it. So
And it cuts back to them at Coney Island, talking about it's perfect day or whatever. And in the background, you can see
yeah,
the
the
Cloverfield
alien.
monster sailing in the water. It's fucking great.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good movie, and especially when they
And you know the
introduce
part-
the things crawling off of it, and attacking
Oh, that's
soldiers.
even, yeah.
And then when
yeah.
Marlena gets bitten and explodes in that
It's
fucking
great.
quarantine tent,
It's
is fucking
terrifying.
terrifying.
I
And
know,
that's
right?
a good example of using a PG-13 limitations to
Yes,
gore and
to make
violence.
it more terrifying.
Dude, the way that they hid her behind that plastic sheet and had her
Yeah.
explode,
Oh,
and you
It's
don't see it, but your mind fills in that gap. You can only imagine what's
Yeah.
happening to her.
Yeah.
Where she swells
Seeing
up.
her would have not
oh
been
my
as effective.
God.
Her just
Terrifying.
blowing up behind that screen is fucking
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though too is like the part with the when they go outside and the Statue of Liberty's head lands on the ground.
Dude, I love that scene.
Mhm.
That's from so the cover of
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York
Mhm.
has the Statue of Liberty's head laying on the ground, but it was never in the movie. And so J.J. Abrams, or not J.J. Abrams, but
Was it Matt Reeves?
Matt Reeves wanted that in the movie, so that's why he added it in there because he always
Huh, I
wanted
didn't
that
know
part from Escape from New York, which
Right.
wasn't on the cover but not in the film. He always wanted,
wanted
that,
to
so
throw
he
that
added
in the movie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a really that's very powerful iconography, especially as being an American. Seeing
Yeah.
the
Sure.
and they used
Our
it
symbol of freedom from the
and,
French,
and hope.
laying on
yeah.
the fucking ground. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's great, and even
Yeah.
the cover of the movie on the DVD box is the headless Statue of Liberty with
Yeah.
Mhm.
New York burning in the background. Like that's, yeah. I think Cloverfield is a fantastic movie. Yeah, and it's definitely a better monster movie. I mean,
So basically, next up is Cloverfield versus Godzilla, and
no, we got to go back to the roots where we would pit the Cloverfield monster against real
Rambo.
life figures like
Yeah.
Jessica Biel. I think was one of them.
What's
They
that?
were- I
Who?
think you were pitting the Cloverfield monster against Jessica Biel
Yeah, I had her.
and
I had her
Olivia
fight her.
Wilde and stuff like that.
Oh.
That was when
I.
this was when we first got the Xbox 360, and I was just kind of like done with video games, so I just get drunk and just talk shit instead of play the game. Right? I just sit there with the controller in my hand, like, and then I just get in there and like, okay, what about Cloverfield Monster versus Olivia Wilde? And it'd be like, shut the fuck up. Because I play with a bunch of kids, right? Shut the fuck up. And then after a while, and I just keep doing it and keep doing it. Everyone's screaming at me. And then after a while, some kids all, okay, what about the Cloverfield Monster against? And then now it's now everybody's doing it. I'm like, I knew I'd get you fuckers. I just had to do it for an hour. But I was so drunk I didn't care, right?
Yeah.
That's when I was over video games and realized that I couldn't do the Xbox 360 sticks. I was fucking done.
Oh, those analog.
That's when I
sticks.
officially started getting old. I remember this vividly. That's when I knew I was starting to get old. My mid 30s. Happens, bros. It's coming for real. Look at Ben. He already needs a nap. Look at him. That's the only thing the camera's done for you, Ben, is to make you look more tired.
Oh, that's good.
Good to know.
I think it looks way better than the webcam.
Oh, absolutely. You were
It does look
putting
good,
in
yeah.
Yeah.
a bucket of Vaseline before.
I'm just gonna switch back to.
What is your webcam like?
Now I look really.
Oh,
yeah,
old.
look
get
how
the hell
fucking
outta here.
Yeah, look how fucking washy.
Can
it
switch.
is.
looks
You can
terrible,
switch
yeah.
camera views in real time.
Yeah, of course I
Wow,
can.
it's
Of
like
course
the
you can.
anything but a Star Wars podcast all over again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How much was that? Like a super expensive webcam you got there? It's 4K, right?
It was like 140.
Oh,
Damn,
that's not
son.
bad at all.
That's bad. I mean, mine was
How much-
like $60 and it does like 1080.
Okay, yeah, but it's a 4K webcam. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was expecting something like that. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that is expensive. I don't really buy webcams.
Neither do I.
I mean, you should just like use a DSLR for your webcam. Apparently, I did a lot of research on this, and it's just like this is the best webcam, but like webcam is just like looked down on apparently in the.
Well,
Yeah.
now if you're an actual streamer, you get a Canon M50 and you plug it in, and you run the
Right.
software that allows you to use it as a webcam. I'm
that
waiting.
true?
Literally,
Yeah.
just,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Get a fucking DSLR.
That's how you do it
and
now.
Use a DSLR.
I want to
Yeah,
use
yeah.
my action camera as a webcam, but they don't have software for it yet. But people are
Mhm.
clamoring for it because I would love to use this thing
Clamors.
as opposed to this
Keep
thing.
clamoring.
I mean, you have a DSLR, fucking mirrorless, man. Just fucking use that.
I don't. It's a Black Magic, so I'd have to get a capture card for it. Yeah.
Oh.
So
And really not worth it. Or just
yeah,
40
I'm
for
not.
this.
I'd rather not use a $1,500 camera setup to record
just
and
40
get
it's
compressed
blabbing. You don't
over
really
a
need all
stream.
that.
I mean, we're using a portion of my screen, so this is about a 480 window that I'm sitting in, so I don't really
Yeah.
need anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's
more
why it
than
needs to
this.
be 4K, man.
There you go. You got. Are
gotta
you
put
pixel
on-
But
peeping?
what else do you do with this? Well, apparently it's an expensive webcam. What else do you do with it? You do like business meetings?
Yeah,
What you
yeah,
again,
Fun
Jeremy?
project manager? Huh?
I do my business meetings.
honking?
with this.
Yeah, that's a car alarm.
Yep.
Oh, I thought that
Nice.
was a Ben's webcam.
Oh.
That was one
All
of
right.
the things that it does.
So this has been We Like This podcast. We did about 20 minutes of Godzilla versus Kong, which is basically all that movie deserves. I wish that
less.
movie was 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
A
right.
lot better.
So yeah, so next week we'll do Nocturnal Animals because we don't have
Okay.
anything else coming out that we want to see. So
There's
Nocturnal
a
Animals.
Kristen Milioti film on HBO Max right now, which I thought. Well, I saw the cover of it, and it was like Kristen Milioti, and that was it. And I was like, "That looks good."
I don't even know what that is.
Right. I like her. She was in Palm Springs.
Yeah, she was in Palm Springs.
Oh, is she
Oh.
the female lead?
yes.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
she
okay.
she was fucking Andy. Like,
Well, there's other people in that movie.
She was Andy Samberg.
it was Andy Samberg, dude.
She could have been J.K. Simmons.
You're right. Could have been J.K. Simmons. Anyways,
I don't wanna
yeah,
hear it.
there is a movie on HBO Max with her. I hadn't heard anything about, but I also don't know anything about it other than it was a picture of her, and that was literally it.
Hmm.
There's
Okay.
a blue sky in the background, so probably pretty good.
It sounds
It's
good.
worth looking into.
Yeah. So, but next week, Nocturnal Animals, knock that out because we know that we like that movie.
Yes.
So,
This is the We Like This podcast. Let's watch something we like.
yeah, I know.
Mhm.
So we do one shit on movie and then one we like this movie. So,
That's good.
all right.
pattern.
So thanks for watching. You can follow us at WLT Pod on Instagram or WLT Podcast. And down below is our Discord link, so you can click on that, join the Discord, and follow updates when I post them the day before, because I always forget. So thank you for watching. Tune in next week, every Tuesday at 7:30 on the dot, even if we're 5 minutes late. So,
But be there.
yeah, but be there, because we will be eventually.
Stuck the landing.
Yeah. Have a good night. Over and out.
Bye.
All right, and we're off.
All right.